Oh, hello everybody. Can you hear me? Are you guys excited about our wonderful democracy? Did you just see democracy in action today, guys? Was it great watching a healthy, constructive debate about different ideas and different ways to rule the country? Wasn't it great seeing democracy in action? What This was the strap-on dildo of debates. I mean, really, and no offense to people that like using strap-on dildos. I'm sorry if I shame the strap-on dildo community, but come on. Like, this was a robot bag of dicks. Like, this was the worst thing. Oh my God. Unbelievable. Oh. I'm offended. Sorry, Maddie. Sharif Snug, Shaving Knuckles, what else? Did everyone watch WrestleMania too? Yeah, it was like that. It was like a WrestleMania. I mean, it's unreal. It's unbelievable. I cannot fathom what that was. Let me just Ron's going to be joining us in a sec. I just sent the link to him. Oh, so let's answer some of these super chats real quick. Nays Garden, what's up, brother? How you doing? Check out Nays Garden show. He goes live every day. He's interviewed all of your favorites, including myself. Hello, somebody. What's up, Nays? Thank you so much for supporting the show. So support his show, everybody. Oh my God, 253 people are already watching live. Hey, Mayor, shave your knuckles for justice. $5 says Biden strokes out first with all the performance-enhancing drugs. They need to be mildly entertaining. Could very well be. Could very well be. Somebody put over under on peaceful transition to power. I will bet if under means we're not having a peaceful transition to power, I'm betting that. Oh, I hate to say it. Biden didn't do bad. Trump was so full of desperation. He knows it's over. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's unbelievable. Hello, everybody. Everybody, good to see all of you here. 300 people watching. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, totally WrestleMania. Good Lord. Christopher Walker, shave your knuckles for justice. We're living in the movie Idiocracy. Keep laughing. I know there's nothing. I went surfing today and just hung out and chilled because I knew it was going to dry. I was getting me so mad. I tweeted in all caps twice, shut the fuck up. Debate 2020. When they just would both yell at each other, it was just, I mean, Trump is like such a little crybaby. And then Biden won't shut up. Oh God, they're so stupid. Like, this is our two dumb parties. This is what we get. Man, I'm so glad we're not like other countries that have 3 and 4 and 5 people on a debate stage. I'm so glad we don't have even just a third party, or as Ralph Nader jokes, a second one. They were two guys fighting over like Mitt Romney Republicans. That's what they were fighting over. Gina Gal 9, love you, Graham. Love you too, Gina. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Unbelievable. Oh. I thought Biden's last speech was the best case he made the entire election. Yeah, I'm going to get it with Ron. Ron and I are going to talk about certain moments of it. I mean, when Biden was like, hey, man, unite the country, I was like, yeah, that was a good message. Trump's dividing the country. I'm going to unite the country. You know, remember how great it was under Obama is what he's saying and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's a fine message, but man, Nays Garden. Free Julian Assange now from your audience, Graham. They love you. Thank you so much. Free Julian Assange. Absolutely correct. We have people also watching on Rockfin as well. Ron Placone, we're going to bring him into. I'm sure he's just as excited as I am to talk about thriving democracy that we just witnessed. It's just, I'm sure he's excited. I don't know why he wouldn't be. Why wouldn't Ron Placone be excited? I don't get it. Let me just bring up this other page. Hit the like button. Oh, wait, I got to plug my computer in so the battery doesn't die. Good Lord. I just have to kind of where is everything? Sorry. YouTube, shockingly enough, is being dumb. All right, that's not what we want, robots. Come on, robots. Robot bag of dicks. I just can't. Like, here we go. 435 people watching, 190 likes. Let's get the likes up to 400, everybody. Everybody hit the like button. Please. Oh, what's up? Ron will be here in a second. Ron is in our standing by. Ron is almost ready. I think he's going to put on face tanner just like Trump had. I wanted Ron to wear as much face tanner, and I want him to kind of comb over his hair Trump style. And I'm going to whiten my teeth too much like Biden. So that's how we're going to do this today. Tony DeMaio, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Why can't we have debate fact checkers? There's too many lies going back and forth. Too many. It was just a fast-paced lie-a-thon. It's going to come down to the justices. Oh, God. 255 likes, folks. Let's get the likes up to 400. Come on. There's 446 people watching. 440 died. Like it up, like it up, like it up, like it up. What's up, Backyard Politics? Watching on the Rock Fan. Trump told the Proud Boys to stand by. Yeah, we're going to talk about that after both he and Biden agreed to law and order and professed their support to cops. No, this was a fantastic Republican debate. We got to see the two sides of the Republican Party quite well. It was really a really good Republican debate. They both lost that debate. No, they did not. We lost. All right, let's bring on Ron Placone, ladies and gentlemen. 473 people watching, 297 likes. Let's get the likes up to 400. Ladies and gentlemen, bring him in to the political vigilante world headquarters. Post-debate, bum. Like, this is my graphic. It'd be like me leaning in, bum. Debate. Train wreck 2020, bum. America loses 2020, bum. Failed state 2020, bum. The lesser of two rapists, bum, with Graham Elwood and panelist Ron Placone. Ron.
Well, Graham, we're looking at some of the polls here. And can you not hear me?
It's on my end.
Oh, this robot dig knocked your microphone?
There it is.
Oh, you hear? Can you hear me?
Can everybody in the chat hear Ron Placone?
Can you guys hear me, chatters? Can you chat it up?
What happened?
Huh? I did what? Am I not audible?
All right. Can everybody hear Ron? Because maybe it's on my end. Ron,
hi, everybody. Can people hear me? Is it on you?
I can hear you, but it's really faint on my end.
Really? Here, let me see. Check. I think it might be a you problem. I think it might be a you thing.
All right.
It's like the MSNBC pregame where they had those random lulls and like people didn't know if they were on or not.
All right, Ron, talk again.
Hi, Graham. What a fun
all.
night. You can't hear me? Oh, okay.
All right, talk again.
Hi. Check.
Can't hear anything. What the fuck?
You can't hear anything. I mean, the settings on my end are good. Here, let me pull up your chat.
It's a problem.
It's a me problem? It's a you problem. Here, let me pull up the chat on Graham's thing. I didn't hear what he said. So let me just see if you guys can hear me. And then I'll start saying stuff that's hopefully somewhat insightful. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, you guys can hear me. You guys can hear me. All right, you guys hear me just fine. All right, I don't know what Graham's doing. I don't know if it's like some robot dick knocked his headphones out. I don't know, but what's up, everybody? I'm here.
I got
oh,
it.
You're back. Are you back?
I'm good. So yes, a robot bag of dicks knocked out my headphones.
They wave their dick around, and sometimes it just goes into people's eardrums. They have no consideration.
Just Harvey, shave your knuckles for justice. I actually liked it when Biden said, "Will you shut up?" Trump wouldn't shut the fuck up. It was disappointing that it was 2 to 3 people speaking constantly. Yeah, it was
so amazing.
Oh my God. We're going to get into it in a second. Let me just answer a couple of these quick super chats. And then Ron and I are going to.
I have so much to say.
Oh, KCH Mueller. Good to see you, brother. Haven't seen you in forever. Willkommen, ausgezeichnet. What is your take on that Catholic Taliban Trump just nominated? To be honest, I am glad we have Angela Merkel here in Germany. Well, let's talk about that real quick. Ron, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Political Vigilante. My name is Graham Atwood. We are joined by the host of Get Your News On with Ron, Ron Placone, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Graham.
So let's just quickly talk. Let's answer this question real quick. What do you think of Trump's? It's a woman, of course. Yay. So this just, he's so good at throwing identity politics back in the faces of neoliberals. I don't like Trump at all, but he just like, it's got to be a woman. It's got to, all right, here's a woman who's just a right-wing Catholic, psycho.
Well, Biden said he liked her, though, so I'm sure she's fine.
It's great. Biden said he liked her. I mean, the Democrats are going to do what they do best, which is just do nothing.
Nancy Pelosi already outlined all the nothing she was going to do. She already outlined. She's just like, when you're the Speaker of the House, there's a lot of stuff you can do. They're like, well, what are you going to do to try to stop this judge from going through? Well, we need the Senate for that. I'm pretty sure we're not going to do anything. Whoopsies. Great. Okay. No, I what's my take on it? I think it's absolutely terrible. I mean, it's a terrible pick. It's, but what were you expecting from Donald Trump? Were you expecting a decent? No one was expecting a decent pick.
I mean, like everyone's like, what's going on? What do you mean? What this is what happens, man. It's this is. I mean,
it Trump is so backwards.
It's like, and I'm sorry, yes, look, Ginsburg did a lot of stuff for women's rights, and that was great, but also was asked to step down while Obama was in office so they could replace her with another liberal judge, and she wouldn't. And
it's
Obama could have replaced somebody at the end of his term, and he wouldn't. And Trump,
he wouldn't.
Trump is going to jam someone in even if he loses. And the Democrats just don't do this.
They do nothing, and it's just so, when you take a step back, it's so freaking ridiculous that a court is just a political football in this country. And it's been that way for years and years and years, and it's not going away anytime soon. But it's just so insanely bizarre. I mean, I think like Dave Anthony tweeted something about it where it's just like, how bizarre it is that judges are celebrities in this country? Do you know how just freaking weird that is? It's just weird. And it is this way because we use the court system as a political football. Republicans do it. Democrats do it. And here they are using it again. And again, Democrats will do absolutely nothing. They tell us how important the Supreme Court is, but Barack Obama didn't fight for a pick that was rightfully his.
Yes, he didn't fight for a pick that was rightfully his. And look, Trump said it. He goes, I won. So part of winning is I get to pick my Supreme Court. Why didn't Obama say that? I won. I've been elected twice. I was elected twice overwhelmingly. The people want me to do this. Sorry.
And to bring it to the shit show we just watched, why didn't Biden call that part out? Why didn't Biden say something? He did nothing. He just took it.
They just
it's just so amazing watching a grown man just lie for hours and nobody did a thing. I mean, Biden didn't do a thing. I have students that barely got a C in my class when I taught debate or what I taught public speaking at community college. They would have done a better job than Joe Biden tonight. My worst students would have done a better job than Joe Biden. My best ones would have done an infinitely better job.
I really want the Vote Any Blue Will Do crowd to sit and listen to this for a second. This is the person the Democratic Party picked. Don't tell me it wasn't the voters. They got behind him. They could have got behind Bernie, and they didn't. They didn't. And this is like exactly what I thought would happen. Biden is going to fight for just centrism shit. I'm going to save the Affordable Care Act rather than, hey, I, Bernie Sanders, or whoever a real progressive presidential candidate would be, would say, I'm going to give you free healthcare, especially now. There was no policy discussed. So now we're going to get with a right-wing judge. And the fact, this is also the fact that it comes that as Dave Anthony said, that judges are celebrities. It's because of this two-party system. Like, I really hope neoliberals that were watching my live or reading my live Twitch stream or watching this show, I really want them to go, were you disgusted by this debate? Did you at any point think, God, I wish we had another option? Do you see why we all voted for Jill Stein 4 years ago? Do you see why we're pushing for a third party? Do you see why we want this so badly? Because this is what happens when you have this goddamn duopoly run by oligarchs. Like, this is what you get. This is the worst, most offensive debate I've ever seen. Remember, anyway. So that's the Supreme Court. We're going to go into the debate in a second, but like, this is why the Supreme Court, and this was discussed briefly a little bit during the Democratic primary a year ago about ways to restructure our court system and not just have this one court come down to this.
Expand it and have time limits.
Yeah.
Boom. Expand it, time limits. There you go.
And also pull judges from like the appellates, like all this stuff. And again, this is what these two parties get. If you lose the right to get a safe abortion, it's because of the two-party system. It's not Russia. It's not Burn Bros. It's not Jill Stein. It's this corrupt two-party system that you keep backing with giving your vote and asking for nothing in return. You should have been outraged that Obama didn't force a judge in to keep the courts on your side. You should have been furious at that. Instead, you still think he's great. So, of course, this is what you get, man. Trump is the fault of the Democrats and this corrupt two-party system. And if you're going to keep backing this corrupt party, the Democrats, and you think they're better, if you vote for Trump, you're a working class person, you are voting against your own interests. But so the neoliberals vote against their own interests. And this is why it's going to come down to these three stupid issues. So guess what we don't get to talk about? We don't get to talk about free college tuition. We don't get to talk about ending the wars. We don't get to talk about UBI or ending homelessness. We just have to watch these two old rich cocksuckers fucking have a Real Housewives style slap fight about Roe v. Wade. Great. And if Biden wins, he'll say, oh, I saved Roe v. Wade and I saved the Affordable Care Act. And all the centrists will yay and high five rather than go, we keep getting less and less. Anyway, what did you expect, Fucksticks?
It was basically every bad take from your racist uncle in a debate. Like that was just it was just every bad take from your racist uncle at the Thanksgiving table. Like Donald Trump at one point was just like, well, there's not really racism in the United States. And then Joe Biden was like, it's I remember Irish Catholics. They faced persecution. It's like, are you kidding? 2020.
What are you guys talking about?
Oh my God. It's
all right. We're going to get in a sec. Nate's Garden, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. It's a good thing you guys never have any technical issues. Haha. Great upload, Ron. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Sage and Fool, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. I'm Canadian and think both presidential candidates are monsters for the U.S. and the world. I think you Americans need to buckle up. From my seat, it looks like war and a general American catastrophe. Why would you say something like that? Casey H. Mueller at Ron, what would Pelosi do? What leverage she has? She has nothing. She's useless. She's beyond useless. PK, I just watched two old rich men proudly argue over who started the poor the best, who shafted the poor the best. Biden chucks them in jail. Trump brings them in the military to shoot them. All right. So let's get into this. Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante. We have 934 people watching. This is fantastic. Please, please, please hit the like button. Let's get the likes up to 900. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you're new to the show, please hit the subscribe button. That's how we keep the show going. So make sure you subscribe to it. I go live 4 or 5 days a week. I drop 2 to 3 clips a day. And when you subscribe to this channel, there's a bunch of stuff you can get for free. I'm also want to thank everybody watching on the Rockfin. Carolyn Free Assange, Independent Left News. Thank you, everybody over Nikki 6. Hello, everybody. Backyard Politics. Check that show out. So please hit the like button, get the likes up there, and make sure you hit the subscribe button. So we just got done watching the first of supposed 3 presidential debates. And I knew it was going to be a train wreck. I knew it. And it was. And this is put up there by Jose Torres. Nothing will fundamentally change. That's exactly what I felt like I saw, was basically 2 Republicans, like a moderate Republican and a right-wing fascist Republican, debating in the Republican primary, is what I felt like I was watching, because it was so bad. They talked over each other. They yelled at each other. I literally had to tweet out in all caps, "Shut the fuck up," to both of them. The moderator, I mean, it was like 3 people arguing. It was like WrestleMania, one of those sports talk shows where just a bunch of sports writers yell at each other. Like they made fun of it on 30 Rock. It was called Sports Yell.
It sounded like the first take of a comedy podcast. Like a shitty comedy podcast. Yeah. It was like the first episode, like, guys, we got to get our rhythm together. I mean, it was absolutely terrible. Chris Wallace had no control whatsoever. Donald Trump just did whatever he wanted. Biden pushed back on next to nothing. So you're just watching Trump lie about stuff. And by the way, and then whenever Trump could go after Biden, he has plenty of ammunition because Biden has enough skeletons in his closet he doesn't need to decorate for Halloween. It was a completely horrific debate on every level.
I mean, he goes after Hunter Biden, and there's many stuff to go after Hunter Biden, and then Biden doesn't go. I mean, like, he doesn't fight back in any way, shape, or form.
He can't. I mean, he's weak. He's been coddled his entire career.
Yes.
Joe Biden has been coddled his entire career. Nobody ever laid a glove on that guy his entire career. And now all of a sudden he's just in the limelight because, again, you know, he failed his way up to being the nominee this time. You know, they wanted to get behind someone. The establishment was not going to let Bernie through. And Joe was the one where they were just like, all right, screw it. Nothing else took. We're just going to shove this guy down everyone's throats. That's what they did. And now Joe Biden, I mean, he couldn't stand up to anything. At one point, Donald Trump called it the China plague. Biden did nothing.
He didn't say anything.
Donald Trump told the Proud Boys to stand by. Biden did nothing. Nothing.
Chris, I'll give Wallace credit on that. A couple of times he really wait a minute. Like, he really did. And he was like, hey, are you going to tell your supporters, like, are you going to denounce white nationalists? Now, obviously, Fox News is never going to have a question that's like, will you put them on the terrorist list? Like, they're terror groups. They should be treated as such. He's not going to go that far on Fox News, but he said, would you? And he's like, what groups? And Trump's acting like, you can always tell when he knows he's cornered, he lies and deflects. And
he tries to slither out of it, and they let him. They freaking let him. I mean, at one point, Chris Wallace was doing Joe Biden's job, while Joe Biden just looked like he was struggling to chew oatmeal. It was, I mean,
I'm gonna tell him to stand down and stand by. Joe Biden should have gone, I'm sorry, did you just say stand by?
Right.
Did you just tell them so that's your dog? This is the dog whistle I'm talking about. This is the problem we have. Your white nationalists are the ones causing a problem, not Antifa. Your own FBI. He tried to do it. He said your own
He
FBI.
almost did it. Yeah, he almost got there, but he didn't quite get there because he's Joe Biden. And I mean, it was like watching. It was like Celebrity Jeopardy if Celebrity Jeopardy was never funny.
Yeah. I mean, literally, like you want to laugh, and I made some jokes, but then you're just sitting there going, "This is the word." I remember.
Do you think he called him a piece of shit? Do you remember that part? Do you think he did it?
He might have. I don't know.
Oh, you don't remember it? Okay, so one point in the debate, maybe some people in the chat have thoughts. It was just like Joe Biden was going, "Look, here's the thing. Number one," and then he goes, "And number two," and I thought I heard Trump say, "You're a number two." And I wasn't sure, but I tweeted it out. I was like, did Trump just, and other people responded. And one guy was like, my wife and I are debating this right now. And we have been for the past 15 minutes. So a couple other people thought they heard it too. I don't know if that's what I heard or not, but yeah, anyway.
Well, I'm not surprised because that debate had everything except for "I know you are, but what am I?" Like,
right.
It literally, this just shows you how much our politics in America has become, and by design, to keep the dumb people yelling and cheering. It's bread and circuses. This is a fantastic distraction. How many countries did we bomb and sanction today during this debate? How many homeless people are on the streets during this debate? We didn't talk about any of it. And I remember Al Gore rolled his eyes in one debate, and that was like, oh, Al Gore blew it. He was rude and disrespectful in a debate. That talked about that gaffe was like, oh, that was one of those historic gaffes. Like Nixon was too sweaty in the 1960 debates, and he wasn't TV ready, and JFK looked slick. This is why I don't like or watch reality TV. It's just, I hate listening to people yell over each other. It's so annoying. If I wasn't doing this show tonight, I would have turned it off. So how many Americans just turned it off? Because nothing would tell me what is the solution for the fact that there's 28 million evictions looming? Did either one of them propose a solution for that?
Didn't come up. No, I mean, I'll be honest, man. The only honest moment in that debate, in my opinion, was at the end when Lester Holt said how abysmal the whole thing was, which when you're counting on Lester Holt to be the voice of reason, holy shit. Yeah. But that's how low the bar is. I mean, this was probably the most ridiculous debate in the history of American politics. The bar was already on the floor.
It was unbelievable. Folks, if you're watching, we have 1,200 viewers. Thank you so much. Please hit the like button. Let's get the likes up over 1,000. And a great way to support the show is hit the super chat button, and I will answer your questions. Like Sharif Snugs. Thank you so much for supporting the show, Sharif. Do you think if black leadership in the 60s fought for equity rights instead of equal rights, do you think it would have made a difference? I think that's a great question. Ultimately, I think it would not have made a difference. And here's why. Because they did the ruling class did a fantastic job of jailing, assassinating, and basically eliminating all of the black leaders from the 60s. I mean, think about it. Malcolm, MLK, killed, Bobby Seale, and jailed for years. I mean, everybody was either jailed or murdered or just swept away. And so how the CIA did all this, and the FBI with J. Edgar Hoover did all these things. So unfortunately, had they chosen a different avenue as you're talking about, and
I actually think the crackdown would have been more brutal had it been about equity. Because I think the ruling class would have responded more viciously to that, and it would have been even more just violent. I mean, it's sad that that's the case, but if you're asking me honestly, what I think would have happened back then, I think it would have been an even more brutal response.
I think that's a great point, and it's illustrated by this train wreck of a debate we just watched,
mm-hmm.
because we weren't talking. I mean, about we're actually in class warfare right now. The media and the ruling class and these two filthy parties and the whorehouse networks like Fox and MSNBC, they've done a fantastic job at getting this country divided into a race war when it's a class warfare. I mean, you've been to a million Black Lives Matter protests. It's everybody. It's every ethnicity under the sun is there. I mean, you have more white people at Black Lives Matter protests than I've ever seen. And yet the media wants to make it a Black Lives Matter versus the Trumpers and the white national, which is what it is. But they won't talk about how many people are behind this movement and how many people are fed up. So it's why you can't talk about it. I mean, when look, Dr. King started really talking about the economics, the Poor People's Campaign, when Bobby Kennedy started talking about why are we spending, at the time it was like $70 billion, which was a lot of money back then, in Vietnam, when there's poor people of all ethnicities. Both him and Dr. King talked about poor white people as well as inner city people of color and Latinos. They both talked about there's a lot of poor white people in this country, and they both got killed for it. And that's why we have to watch this debate of two rich jackasses and their rotten silver spoon children who are all filthy and corrupt. Hunter, Jared, Ivana, whoever they are, they're all horrifying. So that's the real issue here. And Sharif, unfortunately, anytime somebody points out that reality, they get taken out. I mean, that's why we couldn't have Bernie Sanders on stage. Bernie Sanders' message would talk about Biden would say these little things. I'm like, that sounds like something Bernie would say, that you shot down in the primary. Bernie was constantly talking about the inequities in this country. And for Joe Biden to be like, look, these billionaires have made a bunch of money. Like, really, Joe? The billionaires that have funded your campaign, those are the ones you're calling out? You got to be kidding me, man. You have to be kidding me. So it's just, if you can call out the other problems in this country, but if you really, because you got to understand, there is roughly 4,000 billionaires that control the whole planet. That's not a joke. That's not an exaggeration. There's roughly 4,000 billionaires that really control everything in a world of 7.5 billion people. So they're very scared. It wouldn't take much to just sweep them up and get them out. It would not take much. 100,000 people go to the Hamptons, we get a bunch of them. They know this. So they have to keep us divided, distracted, and afraid. They have that is the only thing they have. So when you bring out the inequities, you're gone. You're gone. You won't make it. And that's what this debate was like. Get these two old assholes to have some dumb slap fight. This is like rival country clubs having a fight. So we don't talk about the real issues. And we get Americans caught up in the sporting event of this, picking a side, talking about who won, like it's the Super Bowl, who won the debate, who didn't. That's irrelevant, man. The American people lost before this debate ever happened. So that's my view on that. Let me read a couple more super chats. Thank you, everybody, for supporting the show. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Cool Blue 71, shave your knuckles for justice. Recent YouTube commenter's description of the Democratic Party, a fundraising corporation and mechanism of control designed to flush away all of the left's efforts to obtain progressive policy.
Ron, accurate. That's accurate. I mean, their first priority is not winning. If it was, they would not have Joe Biden up there. Joe Biden wouldn't be up there because he didn't outright win that primary. We all know it. No. He didn't. It was this fake Joe Menum. It was the establishment putting their thumb on the scale again. But what do they spend millions of dollars on? Well, defeating any progressive challengers. They spend millions on that. Yep. Which, by the way, I know you're thinking, well, millions isn't really a lot of money for them. Well, in this context, it is, because guess what? Those grassroots challengers, they don't have millions. But the Democratic establishment still spends millions to make sure they get stamped out right away. and to make sure that they defeat any type of potential for progressive change. And then after that's done, if they beat a Republican, cool, that's neat. If they don't, no problem. The gravy train keeps rolling. That's why you witnessed what you witnessed tonight. It was absolutely abysmal. Joe Biden cannot stand up to a bully. He just can't do it. He doesn't know how. He can't do it. Donald Trump is a bully. He is. He's a bully. Joe Biden just can't do it. Like, he just can't. He's unable. And people in politics know this. Yeah. You think the Democratic establishment didn't know that? Of course they do.
Of course they do.
They don't care. They know what's at stake. This isn't a competition. This is not an election. It's not an election. This is not Joe Biden versus Donald Trump. This is Donald Trump versus Donald Trump. If Donald Trump shoots himself in the dick so fucking hard that he can't get reelection, it's just so hard. It pierces both of his balls out through his fucking thigh on the other side. And it's that hard of a dick shot that the tech robot dicks will never sway again. That's how bad it is. And he doesn't get reelection. That's the only way he loses. Biden can't, quote, beat him. Biden's not even a competitor.
He doesn't have any policies that he has nothing, he has no, he's not saying, hey, American people, I have the policies that are going to get us out of this. He just says, I'm going to get us out. But it's like, what policies? And we don't have it. We don't have that discussion because
he wouldn't even say Green New Deal.
He said, I'm against it. He came out.
He said he's against it. And then at one point he was like, oh, the Green New Deal, it's efficient. It would pay for itself. And then Trump goes, so you're for the Green New Deal? And he goes, no, what the hell? And it's because you just caught a guy in between his donors and the base. Do I appease the donors? Do I appease the base? You can't appease them both. And when you can't talk your way out of things the way Barack Obama could, you are just a sitting duck for someone like Donald Trump. And that's what we saw tonight.
We talked about it in the primaries. Joe Biden exhibits cognitive decline. Now, he didn't have any real serious like blanks tonight, but there was times he was coherent. There was times he was kind of searching for his words and stuff.
Times he looked like he was falling asleep.
Yeah.
There were 0 times he looked in any way effective. He looked scared. He would say, oh, you're the worst president ever. Well, he was looking at the ground. I mean, I'm just talking from an objective debate standpoint here because Donald Trump just gritted through his teeth and lied for 2 hours straight. Everything that came out of that man's mouth, for the most part, was just a straight up lie. But Biden couldn't push back at all. He just sat there, scared and intimidated. And Chris Wallace was just scared. What is so scary about Donald Trump?
Go just kick his ass. Like, I was sitting there yelling. I was like, if I was on that stage, I'd be like, Trump, shut your mouth right now or I'll knock you out. I will get to you before Secret Service does. Shut your mouth. And I'd go over and I'd punch him in the face. And then we'd go, okay, Chris, let's continue the debate. And I would be president because I knocked out this asshole. I knocked him out. I would knock him out. Joe Biden, it's and that's why because Bernie.
That could work out. Yeah, that might work.
Would have taken the gloves off. He didn't take the gloves off with Biden, which is Bernie's fault. That's Bernie's fault.
It is his fault.
Is he a sheep herder or did they threaten to kill his kids? I don't know what happened, but John Silver, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. In one corner, a loudmouth who should have had his ass kicked a long time ago. In the other corner, a dead-eyed goofball out on a Tuesday evening. Oh, God.
Yep, that's fair.
So true. Sage and Fool, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Do you think the stock market is crashing as you read this? The world is watching and the crap show is getting real. Well, when the stock market opens tomorrow, we'll see what happens. I haven't checked, but I bet you my crypto's gone up. Because the rest of the world, I don't think Americans realize this, but especially like the diehard Trumpers. And I'm not like the diehard Trumpers are getting bamboozled at a serious level, but the vote any blue will do people, I'm almost more mad at them. But let me make something very clear to you, American audience. And there's a lot of international people watching right now. The rest of the world is going, you guys are done. I had Christy on this show from Boom or Bust. Please watch that interview. She said investment groups, foreign investors are shorting the dollar. What that means in investment speak, they are betting against the United States dollar. They are betting that the dollar tanks. So if they're spending tens and millions and hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars on that, they're going to make sure it happens. So America is done. Yeah, Ray's gone up a little bit.
Nice.
Ethereum has gone up a little bit. Yeah. So we'll see what the stock market does tomorrow. But the other thing that this debate points out, is how much they really want us fighting with each other. Listening to these two gold guys fight, they're very sophisticated. They know that stirs up everyone watching at home, wanting to fight and wanting to fight each other and wanting to knock out this group or that group. That's what, and when I had Whitney Webb on the show a couple of weeks ago, she found a leaked internal memo, and all these groups, the ruling class, both political parties, are ramping us into a civil war. That's why they really wanted to make it clear that at least Trump, if not both, are going to say that the election wasn't real, because they just need one side, whoever wins, they just need the other side to go, no, this election is fake. And this thing is going to be hung. What happened in 2000, it's going to be hung for a lot longer, and it's going to spill out. And that's why Michaels was trying to get Trump to say, oh, I'll tell my group to stand down, because he knows he won't. So he knows he gave his, and even if Trump tonight said, please, my supporters, no violence, we will accept the election results. If he said that tonight on election day or the day after, if Trump thinks he's cheated, he's going to say, take it to the streets. He's going to say that. And so they're ramping us into a civil war. And between like October-ish, it's going to get worse. At least through January, February, it's going to be a nightmare if it doesn't just completely derail the whole country. Christopher Walker, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Trump won't denounce white supremacists and says stand by in regards to the Proud Boys. Time to make racists afraid again. Yeah, absolutely. They need to understand this. White nationalists they just need to look at some real simple statistics, right? So white people are about 35, 36% of the population. Not all white people are on their side. In fact, I would say most people are not. Most white people are not. They're out in the rural areas, and they think, oh, this is a huge red state, like both the Dakotas. There's 2 million people in all of the Dakotas, right? So, Ron, are you there? Did you freeze up?
No, I'm here.
Okay. So they don't realize that most white people are not down with their white nationalism. Then you've got all the other ethnic groups that aren't down with them. So they're severely outnumbered. And they need to be aware of the fact that they are actually on the wrong side of history, and they are spitting in the face of anyone that served this country in World War II. Because everybody that served in World War II fought against fascism and white nationalists.
Here's the problem, though. They got the problem, though, is they got the cops on their side.
That's absolutely true. That is true. They do have the cops on their side, but and
the cops have a lot of military might.
They do. They absolutely do. And there's a lot of police departments that are clearly have white nationalists in them and higher up, and they protect them. All this evidence of that. That's absolutely true. But it's a lot of people of color that served overseas.
I agree. No, I totally agree. But I don't know. I mean, I'm I'm hoping it doesn't come down to just armed conflict in the streets, because it will not go well.
For anybody. I hope I'm wrong. I don't want to be right. I hope I'm wrong. But what it really seems like is they want us to do this, because again, if these white nationalists, most of whom are probably working class white people, if they realized they were getting screwed over by the same billionaire class, and some of them think, oh, Trump's fighting the billionaire, he's rounding up the pedophiles or whatever. If they realize that, rather than going to a courthouse and rather than fighting, bringing guns to a courthouse in Michigan because they couldn't get a haircut and wear a mask or whatever, if they went there because Wall Street got $4.25 trillion, then they would unify. They have more in common with Black Lives Matter than they think, but they're deliberately divided. So I hope I'm wrong. I hope it gets peacefully resolved, but they're ramping us. They really want this to happen, the ruling class, so that we don't turn on them. Ray Foley, what's up, brother? I had to turn it off and listen to music instead while cooking dinner. I do not blame you at all. Highlights how sleazy these imposters really are. Kennedy was the last president with balls. That's why bang, bang. Oh, I know. Kennedy said, I want to break the CIA into 1,000 pieces. Kennedy said, why are we going into Vietnam? I want to cut back the war machine, and boom, lights out. Lights out.
I even called up some of what the Fed was doing, and yeah. They were having none of that.
Oh boy, every president that's called out the Federal Reserve has been assassinated.
Yeah, no, that's statistically true.
That
is just a fact.
Every American president that's been assassinated had some public something about the Federal Reserve.
Mm-hmm.
Nays Garden, what's up, dude? One good outcome. We can all come together and agree these are two morons we are forced to choose from. Calistoga just got full evacuation order. 3.8 million acres burned in California alone. Hottest year on record. Thoughts? Yeah, let's talk about that, Ron. Let's talk about the California fires kind of started to subside a little bit, and now they're coming back because it's another heat wave.
Because there's another heat wave. Yeah, I mean, I think at one point it was, last I saw it was 15% contained, but now there's another heat wave coming through. So it's probably going to get ramped up again. And I think, yeah, I mean, we got to do something about climate change. I mean, it's just, and then you have two candidates who are just against the Green New Deal. I got to be honest with you though, man, I was a little bit ticked off at the whole bashing California segment from Donald Trump. And then I was just even more annoyed that, like, of course, Biden and Wallace said nothing. You know what? We got our problems in California. We really do. And there are some huge issues with our leadership. But you know what? As a state, we have the 5th largest GDP in the world. A quarter of the country's food comes from our middle. The entertainment comes from our south. The tech comes from the north. We are a big player in this country. And you're just going to try to shit all over us and tell us that we are not getting the federal help that we paid for in the first place because our GDP gets distributed elsewhere. That's some bullshit. That is some bullshit.
It's you know, it's hilarious to listen to Trump go, oh, I like that. I don't deny science. Your whole cabinet is climate change deniers. I mean, your first Secretary of State was the former head of Exxon. Like, now it's Pompeo, who was a torture liar. Like, it's preposterous. And then again, Joe Biden, he's middle ground on climate policy. And we want to cap carbon, like all this, like, oh, that's great climate policy. If this was like 1987, that's great policy, Joe. Like,
we're going to get off gasoline cars by 2079.
No, dude.
He's just passing the buck. That's all he's doing. He's like, I'll be dead. Deal with it. That's what he's saying.
They're both saying that. I mean, is forestry management an issue with the California fires? Yeah, that's actually true. But guess what, Trump? That's federally funded. Mm-hmm. So if you want to help with the forestry department, then why don't you give them some more funding? And why didn't the democratically controlled Congress stop approving his fucking war budgets? And then we could have real forestry management and think about sustainability and get rid of old growth trees and have controlled burns like indigenous populations have done in Australia and throughout the world for 1,000 years. So we rather than just build, rather than Governor Newsom giving out fracking permits and whatever else. And it's like, the state of California needs to go exactly what you said. We have the 5th largest economy in the world. So you better listen to us. We better get what we need, or fuck you and fuck your family. Like, if California wants to secede, I'll run for president of that state in a heartbeat. Because it's just like, I'd be like, oh, white nationalists and any gang drug cartels operating here, they're now terrorist groups in the People's Republic of California, and they're done. They're gone. I'll round them all up. Like, fucking drives me nuts. Oh, Jesus. Like, and just listening to, like, Joe Biden fumble around climate policy and listen to these right-wing talking points of,
well, Trump is successfully attacking him from the left and the right, and he can't handle either one. He can't. Trump will be like, oh, Joe, you don't want law and order. You don't want law and order. And Joe Biden can't handle it. He's like, no, I do. And then he's like, oh, you want this radical Green New Deal. No, I don't. Oh, but you want to do something about climate change. Yeah, I do. So you want the Green New Deal? No, I don't. Well, you just lost the left. He can't handle it because in reality, he stands for nothing. He stands for nothing. Trump stands for himself, and Joe Biden stands for nothing.
He stands for nothing. Oh, Sage and Fool, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. I wonder how much and how many Americans appreciate their democracy affects the rest of the world. Oh, I know. We think we're in this little bubble and the rest of the world is like, this is going to be awful. They're distancing themselves from us. Look, I bet
they're not even letting us in.
If they're not letting us in for sure because of COVID. And when we go into civil war, they're going to be like, nope. And you're going to have countries like Australia, our allies, go, hey, China, we'll play ball. Like, what do you need? Like, for their own survival.
Yeah.
Like, aesthetics guru. I feel the 6-3 Supreme Court will do more damage than another 4 years of Trump. 2021 is going to make 2020 look like Disney World. The empire is over. That's right. Rob Morgan, bum fight. Haha. Big Baby Zuba, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. I love watching that. So funny. Man, we need a new political system. The two-party sucks so bad. Also, Preston Garvey found a settlement. He needs your help. Okay, good to know. 1347 watching. Nice. 896 views. Let's get the likes up over 1,000, everybody. Let's get, I'm sorry, StreamYard, it's moving so quick that I've passed through some, I'll get to all the super chats. Gina G, but I love supporting both of you. The real progressive. Thank you so much, Gina. Redneck Economics. Listen, watch that show. Both are racist. Both are corporatists. Both put kids in cages. It's just a matter of what color hat you prefer wearing. Oh, it's painfully true. Bethany Hunt, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Commiserations for Australia. Guys.
He's from Australia.
From Australia. Yeah,
Thank you, Bethany.
Charles Wilson, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. And this is why I'm writing in Bernie and voting Green Party down ballot. Yep. Oh, Sharif Snugs. What's up, Sharif? Thank you for supporting the show, dude. Really appreciate it. Why do Americans favor symbols over policies? I love Chadwick Boseman too, but I wouldn't petition for a statue of him. I would petition for UBI. I'm just saying. Well, it's a great point. And the reason is we've been so conditioned in this country. It's not a mistake that the biggest view, most watched thing every year is the Super Bowl. We're conditioned to pick a team, pick a side, and get whacked out. And the symbols that you're talking about get all wound up. That's American exceptionalism. The flag, apple pie. It's not like policy is what makes America great. It's all these symbols that make America great. Captain America and whatever else. So Americans get tied into this my team versus your team. You saw it in the Dem debates, in the primaries. And identity politics keeps the left playing that game.
Well, and you're also conditioned to, pick a good guy, pick a bad guy.
Right.
So, if someone's the bad guy, someone else has to be the good guy, instead of saying, well, actually, this entire system is corrupt and we need to change this system because there's just a bunch of bad guys. And if you choose one, you're still choosing a bad guy, which means you'll get an even worse bad guy next time. And this system is what needs to end. The chain needs to be broken.
It's a gay woman of color.
Exactly.
Exactly. Not a bad guy. It's a bad woman of color. Still bad. Still not
that
good.
Changes everything.
That doesn't fix it. Oh, we need to make put a woman in charge of the CIA. Yay, we did that. Gina Haspel. No, we need to get rid of the CIA. we need to get rid of CIA. The district attorney in Los Angeles is a black woman and she won't charge LAPD. Jackie Weaver. She won't do it. Jackie Lacey. She won't do it. Jackie Weaver's a very good actress from Australia. Alan Flynn, Shave Your Knuckles.
Tomato.
Yeah, whatever. Hurt my soul watching Biden getting a floppy. I know. Adam Gluck, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. The Democrats aren't even a good opposition party at this point. No, they're the Washington Generals. If you watch the Harlem Globetrotters, they're the Washington Generals. That's exactly what they do. 967 likes. Let's get those likes over 1,000, everybody. George Allen, what's up, George? Thank you for supporting the show. By the way, this is like the biggest audience we've ever had for a live stream. So thank you for joining us. Please hit the subscribe button if you're new to what I'm doing. I go live 4 or 5 days a week, and I drop 2 to 3 videos a day. I had to take last week off because my father passed away, but I'll be doing more. I have a Patreon page, patreon.com/Graham Elwood. I'm on Rockfin, a blockchain cryptocurrency platform, rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. For $10, you get all the premium content on Rockfin, not just mine, everybody's. Ron's on Rockfin, Convo Couch is on Rockfin, everybody is on Rockfin. So check that out. There's no shame in voting third party. It's what feels good in my heart. My one vote for either of these two goons would not feel right. I know. Doesn't it? It so showed why we needed a third party. Or as Ralph Nader joked, just a second party. Just another option from these two people. Like, and that's why it's like, Howie Hawkins, what? Like, imagine if Jesse Ventura was on that stage.
Yeah.
What would have tonight have been like?
It would have been a lot better.
Yeah.
It would have been a hell of a lot better.
Yep.
Yeah, because he would have just been moderator, basically. He would have just started moderating and answering his own questions.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have let both of them just talk over him and interrupt him. He would have done it.
And he would have flexed his muscles and gone, Don, pipe down, or I'm going to drop you. And little Donald Trump would have gone, yes, sir, Mr. Ventura. You know,
he would have hid behind the podium.
Yeah. And he would have gone, hey, Chris Michaels, or whoever the idiot moderator was, he's being mean to me. Because Trump's a little baby. Trump's a baby, a little crybaby. His supporters are crybabies.
He's a crybaby.
People are stupid crybabies as well.
Yeah, they're all babies. It was just three adult babies babbling tonight. That's all it was. Trump's a baby, Biden's a baby, and Chris Wallace is a baby.
Little babies. Little baby boomer. Your era is ending babies. Dirty diapered, need my baba babies. You've had everything handed to you your whole lives, and it's not fair. Shut your fucking mouth. Someone should have disciplined you years ago.
Not a spine between them. Here's the rules, guys. Fuck you. Oh, please. Yeah.
Fred Hampton's Go, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. We need to build class unity, confidence, and consciousness. Socialist revolution isn't an option. It's the only way out and for humanity to advance.
I agree.
So true, dude. Peter Saturday, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. What if Sanders had sat out 2020? Would someone progressive had taken his place and had a chance and went to the top?
No.
I kind of wish he'd sat out. Maybe.
No.
I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I think anyone, and I'm not saying Bernie was perfect. He was far from it. And there's a ton of things he did that pissed me off, a very long list. But if it would have been someone else, they would have just been cheated harder, quicker, and easier. That's all that would have happened.
When are progressives going to realize you cannot change the Democratic Party from within?
Exactly. You can. And it's not going to be all on the shoulders of one person either. And it's probably not going to be in the White House all that fast either. No,
it's so not, AOC, if you're watching, which I doubt you are, you're not going to reform this party 4 years from now.
No, she's not. And she's not. My biggest hope. Yeah, my biggest hope electorally is that Movement for a People's Party has a candidate in 2024. Right. That's the only hope electorally.
If America is still standing.
If we're still a thing. If we're still a thing.
Which we won't. There's a chance we might not be. We might be completely up for grabs, or we might be like, oh, there's the great experiment failed. There's a bunch of red states that have reenacted slavery and they're setting gays on fire like the Taliban did. And then there's the West Coast of allied states of niceness or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we could break off into like 4 or 5 different countries.
Easy. It'll happen. I mean, like it's ready to happen. X Hippie 503. How do we get a legitimate crypto wallet? I want to play. I use Coinbase and my Ether wallet. So I use my Ether wallet because that's where my Ray tokens are. That's what they pay us on Rockfin. But if you just want to, I would join. Coinbase is one that I use, and I also have in the show notes, I have a Coinbase affiliate program. If you buy $100 in Coinbase using my, and it's in the link in any of my videos that I just dropped, you'll see a Coinbase link. And if you buy $100, you get $10 in free Bitcoin, and I get $10 in free Bitcoin. I like Coinbase. I use it. You can link it to a bank account and cash out into US dollars or whatever currency you're in. I've cashed some out to pay bills and stuff. I've also bought using American dollars to buy it. It's a pretty good crypto wallet, but there's a lot of good wallets out there, and find the one you're comfortable with. And I also have a Trezor, Trzor, cold wallet, which is not tied to anything, where the crypto physically lives on. And start watching like Bitcoin.com. They're a YouTube channel that gives very basic. They have like a Bitcoin Crypto 101 series that's very just spoon feeds you, because I didn't get it at all. No one didn't. I didn't get it at all. And I'm slowly learning more and more. So that's a good crypto wallet. So if you use Coinbase, use my affiliate thing, because then we both make a little bit of money. It's a great way to support the show. And I use it and I like it. Brian Scott, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Which candidate is going to put me in the underground detention facility beneath the closed Walmart in the Apple Valley that hopefully will have Wi-Fi? Great question. Great question. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a firm answer for that one. Gina G.
They're going to do a focus group.
Yeah. We'll get a focus group and we'll figure out which underground detention facility they're going to put you in. Gina G, what's up? Thanks for supporting the show. How about Wallace's framing of the Portland protest? Both candidates were stumbling to lip cops' boobs. I sent this earlier, but it was missed. Oh, I'm so sorry. I missed that. Yeah, that was like unbelievable. It was a Republican debate.
That was one of the grossest questions. The other question that was absolutely disgusting, since we're getting into some of the questions, was his question where he's like, "Oh, Biden, you want to raise taxes on hardworking Americans like big corporations and people who make over $400,000 a year." Those were like the Portland thing, and then those were like the two most ridiculous questions that were asked that night.
Unbelievable. Just these kids in the street. It was a debate for old Republicans to decide which old asshole I want to vote for. There was no some of these cops are out of control. They've shot tear gas at fucking pregnant people and beaten up people in wheelchairs, and they shoot. Like, what do you think is causing this?
Biden had so many moments where he could have diplomatically refuted Trump, and instead he just took the bait. I support the cops. You don't like law and order, Biden. And Biden's like, no, most cops are good. Instead of saying, no, I do support law and order, but I see a systemic problem that needs to be solved. Yeah. But that would take courage, and Biden doesn't have that. So
somebody wrote, California is run by Dems and doesn't set an example for the rest of the country. Where is the Medicare for all in California? Excellent point. Excellent point. If California were to succeed, then I think maybe progressives could finally take that and go, get out, corporate Democrats. We're going to pull this country, this new formed country, so far to the goddamn left. You're going to run to Texas.
Yeah, I mean, and the Democrats are extremely corrupt in this state. I mean, we certainly do have our problems. I would never suggest otherwise. But we have tried to do all these things, and it's the powerful that just stab it in the back. We had a single payer bill. It got stabbed in the back. We're pushing for public banking here. We made more strides than a lot of other places, but it's still, the establishment still fights it. I mean, they fight it nationwide. It's not immune in a place like California.
So true. Louise Brooks, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. I just couldn't watch. We need to reach out to everyone and unite. I agree that some of the racists could be swayed if they understood who was screwing them. Some of them won't. But again, the way I'm talking about swaying them is what Fred Hampton did in Chicago in the late 60s. He went to working class Southern whites that lived in Chicago in a neighborhood called Hillbilly Harlem and said, capitalism is creating racism. And they were like, yeah, because part of what some of this racism comes from is these working class whites have been abandoned. They were abandoned by NAFTA and the Clintons and Obama and everybody else. They've been abandoned. Their manufacturing jobs are gone. They can't afford college. There's an opioid epidemic sweeping through these largely white working class rural areas. It's horrific what's going on in some of these areas. I mean, just the opioid epidemic it's like what crack did in the inner cities in the 80s and 90s. It's unbelievable. And they're just told, you're stupid and you should have gone to college. There's no jobs. There's the Walmart, just joining the military, or there's working in the opioid trade. And so it's ripe for racism. It's ripe to say, well, who's causing this problem? Oh, they are. The Mexicans took my job, the blacks did, or whatever the thing is, the Zionist banks or whatever. And it's like, No billionaires did, man. White waspy billionaires did. Like these are the people that have done this, man. Just like the Walmart crushed the mom and pop businesses. Like Jeff Bezos, all these people are crushing you economically. And if you
it's really convenient for them if you just stay mad at brown people.
Yes, that
really conveniences them, because then you're not going to see what they're doing.
If you're waving your Confederate flag and being a racist, then they don't have to worry about you doing a labor strike. They don't have to worry about you getting together with people like Chris Smalls and walking out of Amazon, the Amazon facility that opened up in your state or whatever. They don't have to worry about that. They don't have to worry about you getting involved in a general strike. They don't have to worry about you showing up surrounding Congress with guns and saying, we want free healthcare and UBI. So that's how that goes. And who militarized the police? Yes, we know. Red in economics. I know how you feel, Ron. That's literally every day living in the South. We're just trying our best, but these politicians give us a bad name. Absolutely, man. And look, the college educated big city neoliberals who's never been there, they love to say, oh, all those red state people are dumb. They're just all dumb hillbillies. And it's like, man.
No, I lived in the South. I lived in the South for a couple of years. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. And Graham, you can speak to this a bunch too, because you and I have both traveled very extensively in our lives and together even on the road. And it's, all of these states have a lot more in common than they don't. And, we're all dealing with the same bullshit. And we all, at the end of the day, kind of want the same things. So,
and they can't have that message out there.
Mm-mm.
I mean, look, I remember you and I drove through Mississippi, and not a lot of like lefty progressives came to our show in that state, admittedly, but we saw the same economic problems we see in California.
Yep.
We saw prison labor cleaning up the
streets. Yeah. That's right.
Right now. Well, it's not all not all prison labor, because half of them got COVID thanks to, I mean, it's like, we saw it. We've seen the economic depression in this country up close from driving through it and doing shows there. We've seen it, man. We've seen it. And this is how racism takes hold. It's the same thing with the Taliban and Al-Qaeda and ISIS. They go to young teenage boys that are Muslim, don't have a lot of education. When I was in Iraq and Afghanistan, some of the interrogators said, man, we get some of these guys, young guys in their 20s or 30s, these radical Muslims, and a lot of them didn't even know how to read. And when we taught them how to read, they started reading the Quran, actually reading it. And they were like blown away at all about Islam being peaceful and taking care of the poor and helping each other. And they were like, oh, I was just told the Quran said it's okay to kill not infidels or whatever. And it's the same thing. Here's a group that was never given great education, that has no jobs and no opportunity. Come join us. We'll make it an ideological thing. So it's ISIS or the Taliban. Same thing with the white nationalist groups. You're screwed. Your life's it's not a good education system. You don't have a lot of jobs. Oh, join us. We'll protect you. And they're the problem over there. Same thing with the inner city gangs. No jobs, no good schools, no chance to get out. Well, join the Bloods or the Crips or whatever the gang is, and we'll take care of you. And hey, here's money to be made. It's the same thing. Those gangs, those drug organizations, those militias, those radical Islam groups, they all prey upon large groups of undereducated poor people that don't have opportunities or jobs. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, man. Sharif Snugs, thank you so much for supporting the show. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. We crossed over 1,000 likes. We are at almost 1,100 likes, 1,200 people watching. The most have watched ever in a live stream. This is fantastic. Sharif, thank you so much for supporting the show, dude. You're making Gotham great again. Bloomberg is trying to get ex-cons the right to vote. Is this a distraction within the duopoly? Is the duopoly just posturing, or both? I would say both, because just as a principle, I think ex-cons should be allowed to vote, because right now in our system, the way our prison system works, and it's basically to benefit so private prison industry can profit, people pay their debt to society and then they can't vote, they can't get a regular job, they have this it incites recidivism, which is good for the private prison industry. And specifically in California, I've talked about this. The prisoners that have fought fires, so they put their lives on the line, which got them good behavior. And I think that program on its own, just as a concept, is a good concept. Hey, you committed a felony, you're in prison, we'll teach you how to fight fires, put your life on the line. That's good behavior. You get out early on parole. But they can't get jobs with fire departments after that. So there's nothing. So we have all of these trained ex-cons in California, and they can't go fight all these awful wildfires. And we have 0.5 or however 3.6, I forget what Nate said, million acres burned. So do I support ex-cons getting the right to vote? Yes. Is Bloomberg doing this as a distraction and a thing to get out the vote? Of course he is.
I think he's just, I think it's just posturing. I agree with you, Graham. I totally support ex-cons having the right to vote. Absolutely. I don't trust Mike Bloomberg on it for 1 second or anything else. I mean, he was using prison labor to make some of his phone calls, his campaign calls, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's awful.
So maybe he just thought, well, maybe I can buy up some votes easier too.
Yeah. That's all it is. I mean, it's a political stunt. And
he's a gross human.
He's a disgusting human being.
He's a disgusting. All I ever think about whenever I hear his name is just like when he was licking his fingers and then touching all the pastries. That is one. Oh, you never saw that video? Don't watch it. It's disgusting. There's just like a pastry thing. It was like just a breakfast, and he's just licking his fingers and then touching all of them.
God.
Probably because no one ever told him he can't do that.
He's horrible. Redneckonomics, what's up? She's got a great YouTube show. Check that out. She reports from West Virginia, gives you an inside look at what's going on there, folks. That's why I say you're all political vigilantes. You're all on the ground doing stuff, bringing information to all of us. Coming from the South, I always heard of California as a liberal paradise, but I saw so much that was wrong the last time I was there. We're all being screwed by the duopoly, non-party voters. Yep.
Absolutely.
I mean, California's supposed to be this paradise. It has this, and now the homeless population is it's through the roof. It's unbelievable. And especially in like LA and Northern Silicon Valley, you've got these $20 million homes and these massive developments that some developer for these high rise and these fancy condos and 1-bedroom apartments going for $5,000. That's not a joke. $5,000. And there's people living in 10 cities like across the street. It's preposterous. What have you seen recently, Ron, driving through LA that's different from when you first moved here? What have you noticed?
Well, I mean, other than the obvious where the city is just shut down and, like the Hollywood Strip. I mean, I went to West Hollywood not too terribly long ago to pick up a book. And you had to, like, the way the bookstore was doing it, I ordered the book and you had the option to have it shipped, or you could pick it up outside. Like, you would go there and you would call, and then they would set it on a table outside and you could take it. And I went for that option just so I could run an errand and kind of get out of the apartment for a little bit. And, I parked and I went for a walk, and it was almost surreal, like just seeing the Sunset Strip completely vacated, seeing no signs of life, seeing all these buildings that are usually, flourishing 24 hours a day, just completely vacant. It's a very, very weird moment. You see more garbage in the streets than you have in the past. You see, there have always been homeless in every single neighborhood, but now there's more. I mean, there are more tent cities. There's a higher volume of them. And yeah, it's, I mean, when you drive around, you think this doesn't even look like what we're taught the United States is. Like, this looks like a third world country.
It does. It looks like a third world. I've been in third world countries. It looks like Los Angeles looks like a third world country with egregious wealth and then people living in shacks in tent cities.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember I was in Rio, which is not third world. It's like developing fancy beaches, Ipanema Beach, and then up in the hills are the favelas and they're shanty towns. It's unreal. There's a bunch of super chats I missed. Excuse me, folks. That's on StreamYard. It goes up so fast I can't go back and get them, so I got to go into YouTube. I apologize. Shaving Knuckles for Justice, Brian Scott. Thank God for KAQMB. My daughter's lungs. Thank them. Good to hear. Tony DeMeo, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Do you guys hear Biden said he's against $15 minimum wage? Of course he is. He's a Republican. Crazy. Ray Foley, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Ray, get a monster box, 500 coins of silver, most undervalued asset in the world. Good to know. Costs about $15,000 and will be like you'll be able to buy a house with it when the reset happens. Check it out. Good to hear. Yeah. I've heard so many financial experts say get into crypto and get into gold and silver. I've heard so many people say that. Michael Karich, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. 1934 San Francisco labor riots will look like kids playing in the streets compared to what's coming. I know. 28 million evictions is happening every state in the country. Every state. I don't care how red you think your state and all MAGA this and all blue. We're going to blue Biden, Harris. It's coming no matter where you live. Matt Senna. Boom. Our foreign policy will become out domestic policy already happening via both parties. Absolutely true. None of your business, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. To support the work of you two shows, we all need to vote for Jesse and Nina B, or T will destroy us all. Yes, I know. I would love to see. If you live in Alaska, you can vote for Jesse Ventura, man. Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. How do you guys feel about Newsom vetoing down ballot voting in California? Ron, what are your thoughts on that one?
Actually, I hadn't heard about that. What did he do exactly?
I just heard about this myself. That he he wants to veto down ballot voting. I don't know I don't know the specifics on that, Nays. I'd have to learn more about that.
Yeah, I'd have to learn more about that. I'm not familiar with that. I mean, I know that he, he's not a very voting friendly guy. I know that about him. I mean, he is adamantly against ranked choice voting. And his insanely condescending reason is that it's too complicated for us. We can't possibly rank our choices. That'd be way too hard. So yeah, he's not a very free and open elections friend. I'm not familiar with what this comment refers to, but yeah, I'd be curious to learn more.
So would I? Matt asks, what's up, Matt? Boom. Speaking of Gavin, what are your thoughts on his abolishing gas-powered cars by 2035? Real deal or lib grandstanding? Well, I don't know. I mean, I hope it's real. California has been fairly forward-thinking in terms of electric vehicle. As someone with an electric vehicle in California, they have increased the charging infrastructure just in the 3 years since I got my first electric car. And I like that. And they're starting to put more solar powered charging stations out there. I hope the wildfires and the California electorate screaming at state assembly members and people like Gavin Newsom to do more. I hope this is a real thing. They could do it by 2030 if they wanted to. So one of the things California did years ago is they made a law that every car company that was doing business in California had to make an electric car. They called them mandate cars. So there were, like, my car was a Kia Soul EV, and they were only sold in a handful of states. They were called mandate cars. Hyundai had anyone. That's why BMW came out with a car. Fiat came with a car. Anyone wants to sell cars in California has to make an electric car. So this forces the car companies, if they want to do business in California, which has 45 million people and it's a car culture, we don't have high-speed rail. You know, public transportation, San Francisco is pretty good. It's gotten better in LA, but it's still a car state. And I hope it's the real deal. And California has a decent history of making these kind of things the real deal. It's a big step, but if they lead the way, a lot of other states might join it.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. I mean, it's definitely better than nothing. I think that at the end of the day, too, you really need to realize that electric cars are great. I actually, my wife and I got an electric car recently, and we really like it, and that's awesome. And I think it's great that people are doing that. I want to see it continue. I want to see it amplify. But we also have to realize where I think California is lagging a little bit, as well as the rest of the world, and especially the rest of the United States. You got to realize it's these big polluters.
Yes. Yeah.
That, I mean, like we got to do right. I mean, it's important we do our best as individuals. Abso-freaking-lutely. I mean, we all do our best. We all, recycle, do the best we can. But at the end of the day, that accounts for about, what, 3% of all the problems, something like that. So the other 97% are these big polluters. They're the Amazons of the world. They're the Walmarts of the world. So, yeah, I mean, I'm glad Gavin Newsom did that. It's certainly not a bad thing, but I'm not going to turn a blind eye to him also approving 24 fracking wells recently. Yeah. So, you got to keep your eye on the really big problem too.
Yeah. J.H. Scott, George Carlin told us about this crap. Trump wants his Roy Cohn. That tells you all about him you need to know. Biden, nothing changes. Yep. Boom. Joe Hartman, condolences, Graham, love and compassion. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all the love and support I've gotten from everybody since my father passed away. I did a whole video talking about him and death and everything because Americans are afraid to talk about death and face it. So I'm not. So I watched that video. Redneck Economics, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Our rulers consider equality to mean that everyone can wear a boot that stands at our necks, regardless of gender, religion, or sexual orientation. Yes, you can get the shit beat out of you by cops of all different ethnicities, right?
And you can pick the red boot or the blue boot,
right? Isn't that fun? You can get evicted by a transgender cop. You can have a bank that has a rainbow flag that it's fantastic.
Your boot comes with a complimentary boot commercial that you watch. Just watch the ad all the way through.
Oh, Louise Brooks, bonus round. What drugs were they on and how much? LOL. Too bad Kamala and Pence aren't required to get high before debate. That would be interesting. That debate, we actually might have substantive policy discussions and debates because Pence and Kamala, at least Pence isn't like a 5-year-old. He's a psychopath evangelical that thinks, having lunch with a woman is bad. But I don't know. We might actually have a substantive debate. It'll be
well,
interesting.
nobody will be watching it, but I do think that, I don't like either person very much at all. I'm not a fan of either, but I think strictly from a debate standpoint, Kamala Harris is going to just shred him.
Sure.
I mean, he's not a very good debate. I mean, Tim Kaine couldn't handle him. Tim Kaine's one of the most pathetic human beings alive, but Kamala Harris, she can hold her own debate-wise. She's a good debater, so I think she'll shred Mike Pence, but nobody will watch it or care.
Well, yeah, but they're both. This is their 2024 prelim.
Oh man, you think Pence will run for it in 20? I mean, I'm sure Kamala will. Definitely.
Pence will run in 2024.
Oh man. Oh gosh.
Trump dies and he becomes. He's absolutely. Because he's so close to being able to have public executions for gay people. Like he so wants that. He's such
he is a psycho. He is a dangerous psycho.
Dangerous psycho. There's a couple I missed. Bonus round. Louise Brooks. What? Oh yeah, we did that one. North American Ape. Thank you. Boom. My limit for primary debates was 4. Here, it's 1. Just like the primaries, it wasn't even entertaining on top of not being informative. Yes, it was the double trouble. Sammy Kablam, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice Vox. I know, right? Says this debate proves Biden doesn't have dementia. Seems like this mess would do the opposite of that. What do you guys think? I mean, okay, let's say he doesn't have dementia. I believe he does, and they're just putting him on medication right before these debates. But let's say he doesn't. He's still awful. He still did nothing, didn't fight back, didn't give any real policies, just let Trump lie like a psychopath that he is, all coked up in his tanning salon. And it was such a disaster.
Yeah, I don't know what Biden does or doesn't have. And whatever he does or doesn't have, I refuse to see him as a victim in any way, shape, or form. And I yeah, he's still terrible either way. I mean, yeah, whether he has dementia or not, that was the most, and I'm just speaking strictly from a debate standpoint, regardless of how I feel about either candidate. That was the most pathetic performance, not just in a presidential debate, not just in any debate in American politics, in any debate I've seen in my life.
It was awful.
And I used to teach it to college kids, some of whom were more terrified to stand up in front of a group of people and speak than anything else in the world, because public speaking is a really big fear for some people. I held debate tournaments with students like that, and that was the poorest attempt at a debate I have ever seen in my life. I'm not embellishing. And it just shows that to be a politician, you can just, I mean, if you don't want to really go about it the long way, you can just be a blank suit and take the checks, and you can have a very long career while still being a very weak and at best mediocre person. And of course, you have to have no integrity, because if you had any, you wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. It is the most underwhelming thing. I mean, I have met more politicians in my life than I ever wanted to in 10 lifetimes. It is an underwhelming experience 95% of the time. Usually when I meet these people, I wouldn't want them to feed my cat when I'm on vacation, let alone vote for them ever under any circumstance. The fact that they are on lists of admired people is nothing short of criminal. I mean, there was that list that came out of the most admired people in the U.S. Half of the list, over half, was politicians and billionaires. There should have been zero of each on that list. Absolutely zero.
We should go back, like you said, what the Greeks did. Pick someone who doesn't want to run.
Recruit them. You shouldn't be able. You just say, I want to run for office. That should disqualify you from ever doing it. Oh, you do? You're disqualified. You're fucking out. You don't get to.
Like Pete Buttigieg? Oh, we're going to need to shock therapy you. You're a psycho. We're going to lock you up and put you in Arkham Asylum. Ron, you just cut out.
Oh, I did?
Oh, there we go.
Oh.
Maybe it was maybe on my end. Who knows? Amanda, shave your knuckles for justice. Graham, what if I don't have hair on my knuckles? Well, get a knuckle toupee.
And then shave it.
And then shave it. John Coyne, boom. Tonight's debate was very educational. Can I vote for someone to drown me in a bathtub? Yes, John, you should have that option. You should be able to do that.
That's your right.
That's your right as an American, John. Micah Camp, shave your knuckles for justice. We don't need to start the abstain movement.
We need to start the abstain movement.
Oh, sorry. We need to start the abstain movement if civil war breaks out. Not a D or R, and we don't support Biden or Trump. 100 million non-voters included. Yeah.
I wish we had a non-confidence vote.
Yeah.
I wish we had that. Where it's like, if there's a high enough non-confidence, they have to get different candidates. They just have to scrap the whole thing.
The civil war breaks out, the 100 million people that don't vote should say, we will not vote for any Republican or any Democrat in any election anywhere. And we're only going to vote third party. Oh, I would love that. That's a good idea. Evie Storm, what's up? Shave your knuckles for justice. Get ready for martial law in November. I
think there's a chance. Yeah, there's definitely a chance. They'll put us under martial law again.
Yeah. I agree with you, Evie. It's coming. They're pushing it. This is part of the plan. This isn't like, oh, what do we do? As Whitney Webb said, their whole plan is to get us into a civil war, make sure the election is somehow in dispute to push the civil war. We won't know who the president is probably until January, if at all. And in that time, they're going to encourage, things to bust loose in the streets so they can clamp us down to martial law. That's what they want. Farkas Garvey, shave your knuckles for justice. If Biden massaged and stiffed my wife, I would say, come on, man. Also, why would he even want to hug Hillary for 20 seconds? Oh, so bad. This whole thing is.
Did you see how everybody was like all the Hillary stands were sharing those clips in 2016 where she was like calling out Trump for his tax bullshit.
Right.
And everybody was like, she knew it. She knew it. Yes. It's like, yes, you're right. You are right. Hillary Clinton sniffed it out that Donald Trump is a, wait for it, shady guy. Nobody ever would have cracked that code. Holy shit. She should have been a detective. She is a freaking genius. Who would have sniffed that out? Hillary Clinton did. That didn't get past her. She's a genius. Nobody ever would have concluded that Donald Trump, kind of a dick. Nobody ever would have figured that out.
And the person who sniffed it out was one of his friends for years. Weird. That's so weird. They all hung out together with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. It's weird that she knew that. Such a weird thing. Matt S. Boom. Shaver Duckles for Justice, Matt. Speaking of big polluters in the world, China and India, we can go green in the USA, but if they don't, what's the point? Thanks. Well, that's a great point.
Well,
but here's
the same thing about us.
Yes, they're saying the same
thing about us. And honestly, I mean, China is one of the world's biggest polluters, but they have taken more green initiatives than we have.
Yes.
They've done more than we have. Anyway, Graham.
No, that's a great point. And some specific statistics. In 2015, China, who has an awful smog problem, no two ways about it. I've been to Beijing. It's bad. And all throughout the country. I took high-speed rail from Beijing to Shanghai, about a 5-6 hour ride. And I saw smog through a lot of it in the countryside. But in 2015, they said overnight, and they like tripled their wind and solar panel production. And they went to $144 billion in production. We were at 40 some billion at that point when Obama was still in office. They doubled it. They tripled it. They have been spending money to get out. They see the money in green energy. And India, again, if we're the leader, they would follow. And that's another reason when I hear, oh, Green New Deal is going to cost trillions of dollars. They always say this dumb bullshit. No. We make this energy. We make this technology. We then help sell it and set it up in India and countries like that. We make it affordable. We lead. We're supposed to be the world's leaders. That's how this would happen. China is already realizing it.
Yeah.
They're hedging their bets. Yes, they still have oil. They buy it from Russia. They have pipelines. They created the petro yuan. Same thing. India is a new emerging economy, so they need oil and fossil fuels to generate this new kind of industrial economy they're having. But if we stepped in and went, here you go. Here's this new technology that can clean it up. You don't need no more fossil fuels. But India also, because of this is another thing I will add, Matt. India passed a law, no more gas cars by the year 2030 or 2035 or something like that. Look that up. I've done a video on it. So India realizes this problem and is doing something about it. And if we were the world leader that we should be, rather than the world leader in bombing and lying and killing our own citizens, then we would lead the way.
See, and I have no confidence in us anymore. I just don't. I mean, I see Matt's point, like, and I think he's right on, but I'm hoping that China keeps going, and I'm hoping that other, like some of the European countries, they really start leading the way, like, because we're just not. We're not.
What do you think tonight? I mean, the way we've handled COVID, the way we've acted for the last 3 or 4 years, and I don't mean just Trump, but the fact that the Democrats have co-signed all of his bullshit. They blamed everything on Russia, and then tonight's debate, the rest of the world just went, okay, cool. So we're going to do our own Green New Deal, and we're going to start using crypto. I mean, Japan is creating their own crypto. All of our allies are lining up to bail because they see us going down.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing it with crypto. They're doing it with green energy. They're circumventing it. They're just like, America's going to go up for grabs. We got to get out of here because they're going to take us all down if we. And China, what has China been doing? Have they been building up their military? Nope. They've been going into Africa, an emerging market, and building ports and schools and railway centers. And China just wants to buy everything. They don't want to take over militarily. They just want to make money. And that's what they're doing. And they're spending also in Africa money on solar, money on wind. That's what they're doing. Because they see we could make the world's, China is going, we could make the world's wind turbines and solar panels. We can do that. We make everything. That's what they're doing. And we're fighting over wearing masks or not. Nice garden. I tweeted it at you. Happened a year ago, both Ron and Graham, the ranked choice voting veto. Oh, okay. Yep. That's how dumb this country or California is. I work in a cemetery. I deal with the inevitable all the time. Oh, thanks, Jeremy. Good to see you on the chat, brother. Snork Y2K, what's up? Get a couple more super chats in here. Oh, did they skip? Did they skip? I think we have a friend in the chat. Steph Zamarana. What's up, Steph? Isn't it funny that the last two Dem presidential nominees were super pro Iraq war? Jimmy. War's good for business, Jimmy. Come on, dude. Tell Jimmy and Brownie we said hello.
Yeah.
Oh, Steph, let's all do the show again. Let's do another. Well, come on, Jimmy show. We'll have Ron and I back on Jimmy show again.
Agreed.
I miss.
It's a good idea.
I miss doing that show, and I miss riffing with you guys.
I miss the live shows too.
Oh God.
I mean, I think that goes without saying. Does that even need to be said?
Oh, I know.
I say it every day. Like I say, I mean, every time I'm on live, I'm like, I miss playing live so much. I miss. They're like, yeah, we get it. We miss it too. Take it easy. It's like, yeah, but it just hurts so bad.
So it's so tough. 1,200 likes, folks. That's the most likes I think we've had on this show. Fantastic. Steph, much love. Tell everybody we said hello. Humanity, what's up?
Humanity.
Sweetie? Biden refused earpiece inspection. Would they have found his Neuralink? There are no winners here. Free Assange now. No extradition. Journalism is not a crime. Let's talk about so the way the New York Times acquired the Trump tax returns.
Mm-hmm.
If we're okay with the way they acquired those tax returns, then we should be totally okay with how WikiLeaks has acquired stuff and published that.
Of course. I mean, of course. And if WikiLeaks publishes stuff and the Guardian and the New York Times publishes it too, why is only one entity in trouble? And again, and I think this goes without saying, but just to be clear here, I don't think any entity should be in trouble. I have no problem with how they acquired Trump's tax returns. I have no problem with the Guardian publishing what they published. But there should be no problem with WikiLeaks doing it either. And the fact that what's going on with Julian Assange is happening is there's not a word in the English language for it. The word he uses is nonsense. That's putting it quite gently. Nonsense doesn't even begin to describe what this is.
Such a kangaroo court. It's not even funny.
It's unbelievable.
And
it's getting worse.
CNN read Podesta emails that were from WikiLeaks on the air in their primetime show during that whole thing. Like, what do you? So then why isn't CNN locked up for? Unbelievable, man. Yes, free Julian Assange. Thank you, humanity. Sage and Fool, what's up? Shave your knuckles for justice. Graham, why do you think gold, silver, and crypto is a financial safety if you believe MMT is valid? Also, if MMT works, why do people have to pay taxes at all? Why not just print for the people? Well, there's several questions in there. So first of all, MMT, yes, tax is theft. If you learn how MMT is, they don't need our tax money. It's basically just theft.
Well, if you read about the history of debt too, they talk about how, like, when you really trace taxation back to what it really is, it was basically just to keep groups of people in line. Mm-hmm. Like, that's really what it was all about.
Yeah, it's why the rich never have paid a lot of taxes, but the poor and working class pay more. Percentage wise. Isn't that weird?
Well, I want to answer this question after you, though.
So why do you think gold is financial safety if you believe MMT is valid? Well, those are two. So I believe MMT is valid. I mean, it's got a bad name, modern monetary theory. It's not a theory. It's what is happening. The Federal Reserve can keep printing money and can pay for whatever it wants. So the how we going to pay for it is a lie, right? This last CARES Act showed that, correct? $4.25 trillion was just given. Wasn't even taxpayer money. It was just printed up by the Federal Reserve and given to Wall Street. which means they could give us whatever we wanted, right? That's what that means. So crypto, gold, and silver, but they're also printing up a lot of money. They're just printing their way out of this, and bombing and not spending money on its citizens. So when the evictions go high and when the markets crash, which they're going to do, and they're predicting that there's a 90-year market crash cycle. So when the stock market crashed in 1929, the effects of the Great Depression weren't really felt till about 1932. So there was a couple years of this kind of slow, and then it really, really got bad. So the markets really crashed hard in March when they shut everything down, but now the stock market's doing great. So there's a big market crash coming. When that happens, the banks, traditional banking, they're not going to have enough money because they have loaned out way more money than they actually have in their banks. What banks do is, let's say they have $100 million in actual cash deposits that people put in the bank. Well, they lend out, if they're smart, they just do it 2 to 3 to 1. What they did before the last financial crisis and what they're doing this one is like 10 to 1, 15 to 1. So these markets are going to crash. The banks aren't going to have cash. And so if you got $10,000 in your bank account, and this has happened in other countries, the banks then go, oh, you can only pull out $500. So really the crypto and MMT, there's kind of separate issues. And as far as I'm concerned, is what I'm noticing when I watch other financial experts. It's a great question, by the way. Because if the dollar is worth nothing, because America has collapsed and the dollar is not worth anything, and we're talking about countries betting against this, then you're going to need a backup, which all of these other financial experts, people that know a lot more than I do, and now even people who several years ago were like, Bitcoin's nonsense. It's just hacking tech nerds online. Now some of those experts are like, oh, no, we're investing in Bitcoin. So when I see big traditional investment firms start to invest in crypto and gold and silver, I go, well, I want to hedge my bets. I'm not putting all of my money into crypto, but I'm putting some of it into it for sure. So
yeah, and I would say that it's sort of like basically you're looking at where we're at now with where we should be going in the future. Like they're two different things, MMT versus, gold, silver, and crypto. And then to answer that second part, because, I think you nailed the first part completely. If MMT works, why do people have to pay taxes at all? Why not just print for the people? Well, because we're not doing MMT yet. I mean, that's the thing. We're not doing it right now. So if we start doing it,
hold on, we're doing it for banks and for Wall Street
and for war. So that's true. Yeah, we're doing it for the 1%. But as far as for anything to help the people, well, we're not doing that. So if we start doing it, then we can maybe explore why do we really need to pay taxes all. But until then, people need to pay their fair share of taxes, especially the billionaires who are paying nothing. So
imagine Sage and Fool, if that $4.25 trillion in the CARES Act all went to the people.
Mm-hmm.
No one would be behind on rent. So there would be no rent strikes, because the people being behind on rent hurts two groups of people. It hurts, obviously, renters who are like, I can't afford to rent. I'm worried about getting eviction. And like small business property owners, not the big mega corporations, but like, I know plenty of people who this is one of the things they did with some investment money. They bought a little rental property, a house or a 2-bedroom, a 2-bedroom condo, and they rent it out. Well, now their tenants don't have money to pay bills. So now everyone's jammed up. Everyone's scared. What if that 4.25 trillion went actually into the economy, not into Wall Street? That's how MMT would be doing what you're talking about, and that would have printed that money for the people, and that would potentially get us through this. But they're not. Great question. Great discussion. All right. A couple more super chats, then we'll wrap this up. Gil James Bavell. What's up, brother? You're making Gotham great again. I think enough has been done by 45 to the country to bring enough voters out of the woodwork for a landslide. Elwood Placone 2024. Done. Cats and surfing.
Cats and surf. How could that lose? Cats and surf. I mean, that's just a whole lot of awesome.
That's it. That's the whole. We pick up every vote that way. Cats and surfing.
I did a college today, and during the Q&A, it was virtual, but I did a virtual college today. They demanded to see the cat during the Q&A. They're like, "Can we see your cat?" I was like, "All right." And then there was one Lucy and Ron fan there, so it was cool.
Good. Steph Zamorano, what's up, Steph? Shave your knuckles for justice. Shave brownies, paws for justice. I like when Graham says crypto. I can't be alone on this, Jimmy.
She's signing it, Jimmy. I bet it's her.
It's her.
It's just Steph.
It's just Steph.
She's acting alone.
Yeah, she's the lone gunman. Steph is the lone gunman. Let's make sure I got all of these. Matt asks, good to see the high viewer numbers still jonesing to see you all live again. Oh,
have we mentioned we miss performing live? Have I mentioned it yet today?
Has that come up?
I don't think that's come up.
I don't know.
Let me tell you something.
Oh, there's a couple that I missed. Hold on. John Coyne, Graham, the commies are trying to take us over. Thank you, John. John Coyne again. Boom. Shave your knuckles for justice. Ron Placone is obviously a double agent from Russia. Come on, Jack. I know. These are all.
I do have evidence of this. I double agent you.
Yep, I knew it. See, I should be able to bring up the Nays Garden one. Nays Garden, thank you so much.
Alone.
He did $100 one. Graham, Ron, Jimmy, and Steph all use triage oil, and Jimmy needs to use it in his mouth or in his jaw. Hope you're loving it, Jimmy. No, I've used triage oil. I love it. It works.
I use it on my neck all the time.
It works, dude. It does so many great things. I could actually use another bin, Nays. I'll hit you up.
Triage oil uses you. You go straight to your brain, and then you feel no pain no more. My daughter takes the triage oil, and she took it yesterday.
Go to triageoil.com, buy some triage oil, and watch Nays Garden show. All of us have been on it. He's a huge supporter of this show. He's a big lefty, obviously cannabis guy, but this triage oil, man.
He grows a lot of plants, that Nay. Many plants Nay grows.
I mean, they're probably Russian. It's probably Russian.
They're probably Russian plants. They're Moscow plants, but he grows them.
I bet you Susan Sarandon uses triage oil, if you know what I mean.
She lives there. She lives with plants.
Red Economics said we're just now able to buy CBD products in West Virginia. It was such a trip going to California and walking into a store and legally buying weed. Yeah, everybody who comes here loves that.
It is kind of cool.
It is kind of cool. I don't even smoke weed, but it's kind of cool.
But you're like, well, I can. That's neat.
When it became legal, I actually went and bought some CBD oil to rub on like sore muscles.
Yeah, I mean, it works great.
It's great stuff.
My mom and all of her sisters were visiting from Pennsylvania. This is before the world shut down. And I got a little disposable vape for them and just gave it to them. Like for the four of them, I just gave them one and they were just I gave it to them like in a public place at a restaurant. They're like, oh my God. And I'm just like, nah, it's Southern California. What do you think the server's doing right now? Enjoy it. Like,
Bethany, what's up, Bethany? Shaving knuckles or justice. Tax is for redistribution, avoiding inflation, and to create demand for the currency. Well, thank you. Thank you for that, Bethany. That's something we all needed to know. Christopher Dobby. Shave your knuckles for justice, Christopher. You're making gossip great again. They create money when they extend a loan by double entry bookkeeping. You should hear why bonds are issued by government. That's interesting. Thank you so much for that, Christopher. I'm trying to get get more knowledgeable about all this stuff. Either way, people are going to buy their weed. The states might as well legalize it and get a cut of the profits. I know, man. Look what Colorado's doing. Colorado's
they have their own banks around it and shit at this point in Colorado. And they do really well.
Dude, the real estate market went up in Colorado because you can't use federal banks, right? Because the banks are federal, so they've had to create their own banks like that. But then they bought a bunch of real estate. They put all their money in real estate. They've got more money for the homeless. They got more money for schools in Colorado, from what I understand, because they got all this. Their tourism, obviously pre-COVID, but their tourism industry went through the roof. They were loving it. All these conservatives like, "Well, weed is the devil's business." We're like, it's okay when the money rolls in.
Mm-hmm. John Boehner.
Yeah, John Boehner. Backyard Politics. Watch that show. Let's see if there's another. Annabelle Corley. What's up, Annabelle? Shave your knuckles down under. Missed the debate. Was at the dentist, which was more painful. The debate was more painful than what happened at the dentist. I hate to say it, but I hope you feel better. Rest up.
Yeah, rest up.
Oh, was it socialist dentist? All that socialism healthcare you guys got in Australia, forcing you to go to the dentist. Chimchuree, hi, and hi to you, Chimchuree.
Hello.
How are you doing, Chimchuree? Let me make sure I didn't miss any of the super chats. Bethany Hunt. All right. Dude, 1,274 likes. This is our best live show ever. How about it? How about that? Thank you all so much for joining the show. And again, if you're new to the show, please hit the subscribe button. And I go live all the time. Ron's on the show all the time. So hit the like and subscribe button. Share the videos out. Again, you can support me. And speaking of crypto, in my show notes I have a Bitcoin wallet, a Bitcoin Cash wallet, and an Ethereum wallet. So you can donate to the show using crypto. If you go to grahamelwood.com, I have a PayPal button. I even have a P.O. box if you prefer sending me traditional like checks or whatever. And the P.O. box address is different. There's a new one. Just check my website, grahamelwood.com. And then there's rockfin.com. We are streaming live on Rockfin. Hello, everybody on the Rockfin. Robin Gibson, Nick A6, Independent Left News, Carolyn Clacy, boom, 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 boom. Rockfin is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform, so please check that out. Let me make sure I get the rest of the super chat. Annabelle was at the debate. We've done that one. All right. Girly Gamer 86, you skipped mine. Don't worry, I'll get to it, Girly Gamer. And thank you for supporting the show. Good to see you here. Nays Garden, what's up, brother? Cannabis should be available for all for merits on its own, not for the money people can make on it through taxes. My crappy opinion. No, I agree with that. I agree cannabis should be legal because it's very beneficial. I'm just saying to the like old school, it's gateway drug conservatives or whatever. I'm like, and there's like to the states, there's money to be like,
yeah, it's speaking their language.
Yeah, I'm speaking their language.
It's just saying like, hey, there's no reason why you should be against it because it has so many benefits, even economic ones, which is all the capitalists care about.
Right. Amanda, quit talking about it. All we can get is CBD sleep tonic. You're just rubbing it in. I'm sorry, Amanda. I'm not trying to make things more difficult for you. I want you to be able to get your weeds. Your weeds. That's what the kids say, right?
That's what the people who don't use it say. The people who don't use it say, I want you to be able to get your weeds.
I'm totally a guy that does not smoke it because I'm like, you should be able to get your weeds, Ron.
If you guys want your weeds, that's just, are you using the weeds again?
Ron, are you listening to rock and roll music and using a hula hoop?
Are you driving back to the hotel or am I? It depends. Did you use the weeds?
Ron, if you use the weeds, I can drive after the gig. All right, let me get to Girly Gamers. I hope I didn't miss her. Sorry. So many people. It was like flying through the super chats. It was great. Where did I miss you, Girly Gamer? Oh, Naughty Vegan, we missed you. Thank you so much, brother. My candidate, Giant Meteor 2020, is scheduled to appear one day before the election. Wish me luck. Nays Garden again. Hey, Steph, come to the garden, girl. Right on. Steph Zavarano. Has Ron ever tried to dunk his microphone? Serious question.
No, it's attached to this thing. The pole's too long. I'm
All
not
right.
tall enough. I can't. Yeah.
David Bond, focus going forward must be on how to organize and overthrow the U.S. empire. Progress will only come from the streets, not a voting booth. Am I wrong?
No,
No, David, you are not.
you're not wrong at all.
Steph Zamorano, this is Jimmy. What's up, Jimmy? Come on, Jimmy. Why can't you? Why can't
That
you?
one I believe is actually him. I think that's the only one, though. It's like the only one that's been him.
Stop mansplaining through her Twitter or her profile, Jimmy. It's not cool what you're doing. Let Steph have a voice. Girly Gamer 86, where you are, sweetie? I wouldn't miss you. If you aren't taught how to drive, you have to pay $300 to get taught by a company. If you live outside a major city, your public transit options are trash. The U.S. hates poor people. Great point. Man, is that a great point. Man, that's a great point. Thank you, Girly Gamer, for bringing that up.
Wait, you have to take driver's ed at certain parts of the U.S.?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's not if it's not taught in high school.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's
I don't
no
think that was
transportation options out there, and so what do you do?
right. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I don't think that was the case in where I grew up in Pennsylvania. I don't think that's the case there.
I don't know.
No, anyway. Yeah,
In the
it's not,
sticks, man.
I don't know.
Zap Strong, Shaver Knuckles for Justice. Do you think it's possible our democratic process works and our culture is so sick that these candidates represent the majority? Who influences who?
No.
They're the puppets of they're the puppets of the oligarchs, those two idiots you saw on TV tonight.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, there's too many just red flags to indicate that that's not the case, be it exit polling, be it just abnormalities in our voting system, the way they purge voter rolls constantly. I mean, no, it's not. I mean, they're cheating us. There is election fraud every single time there is an election. And it's the Democrats who do it the most during a primary and the Republicans who do it the most during a general. Why? Because that's the best way to uphold the status quo. So, yeah, I'm not trying to say that the populace is totally blameless here. I mean, there is some, accountability on the general person. And I think we don't always meet those bars as a society necessarily. But no, I mean, it's by design that we're given this, banana republic of a democracy.
Yep. Amanda, you missed a lot of them again. What if I have no hair on my knuckles? I'm so sorry. I've missed some of these. Gray Walker joined third party. I want to shout out for electric assisted trikes. Boom. Ron, this is from Redneck Economics. Thank you, Redneck.
What up?
Stevie, how you doing? Ron, when are you going to have Immortal Technique on? They'd be perfect fit for Music Monday. Oh boy.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I will look into that. Yeah, that sounds fun. I will definitely have to look into that and see if they want to do the show. Speaking of music,
band. This is a band I've never heard of.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar. I mean, but Redneck Economics has recommended them to me in the past, so I gotta look into it. Okay. Did you listen to any of that music I recommended?
I doubt it.
I haven't watched any of the movies. It was a busy weekend, and I know you had a lot going on. So
this week, it's all right.
We did a show.
We did a show. What happened to me? Ron, I lost you again.
I'm here. Did your earpiece fuck up or something?
I don't know what's going on with this goddamn thing. But all right, I'm getting hungry. Let me bang through these. Bethany Hunt, USA does way more eco damage than China or India. Thank you so much. That's in reference to Matt S.'s question. Okay, I think we got the ones that we missed. There we go. We're caught up. There's a couple jackass ones in here. There's a couple of all right, there's a couple I missed. Hold on. Annabelle Corley, socialist dentistry doesn't cost enough.
I want to pay more.
Yeah. Steph Zamorano. Shave your knuckles for justice. Did Graham just say kangaroo court because Julian Assange is Australian? This is Jimmy. Oh, Jesus. All right. Okay, then I got all of these. You skipped me. Okay. This is the one thing I wish StreamYard would fix, but otherwise I really love the platform. Nay's Garden. Listen to all these anti-capitalists. There's money to be made off cannabis. LOL. Here's what I think. If legalizing cannabis on a federal level and the tax revenue from it on a local level, because local taxes don't have MMT. Local governments, as I've talked about before, they can't just create currency the way the Federal Reserve does. So if state, county, and municipal governments, through the legalization of weed and tax, like, so they sell tax in weed, like in Santa Monica. So Santa Monica gets a little piece of tax, LA County gets a little piece of tax, and then the state of California gets some tax. If that tax money can pay for more social programs and get people off the streets and housing for everybody and end homelessness and have better schools, then I'm all for it, Nays. But
yeah, I'm with you. I mean, hey, it's just one of those things. If bringing up the economic incentives gets more people on board and we get, cannabis legalized at the federal level, or it gets municipal broadband across the country, hey, I'm willing to speak their language, or a public bank.
Because this is the thing,
you've got their language if I have to.
The handful of the hippie leftists, we're already down with it.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't
need to win us.
You don't need to win us. You got to convert them. Sage and Fool, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Graham, if you believe the U.S. is doomed, you have to look how to survive what's coming. Not kidding. No, I believe me, I have been. I've recommended before and we'll do again. Lynette Zhang, Mike Maloney, and Lynn Alden interviews. Okay. And this is for everybody. I hope I'm wrong, but it's going to be nuts. America the Civil War is like already starting, and it's scary. And I don't want it to get worse. And I want to be wrong. I want things to get ironed out, but have a backup plan, have some backup plans. I already have some of them in place. So be ready. Be kind, try your best, and dismantle the establishment. You got that right, Red Economics. What's up? Girly Gamer 86. Boom. Most Southern California high school cut driver's ed in the 90s. Jesus Christ.
I didn't have it in high school. I know that.
I did, but I was in high school in the 1930s. Bo Hunk Deluxe. What's up? Shaving Knuckle. Check out War is a Racket by Bo Hunk Deluxe on SoundCloud. Ooh.
Will do. I've read the book. I'll check out the tune.
All right.
Got it.
You just took Smedley Butler's writings and put them into a song. I'm down with that.
A
fan sent me a song from some band in Western Australia. I forget the name of it. And it's like, we don't want to be like the USA.
I like it already.
It's fantastic.
That's an awesome song.
It's an awesome.
I already love that song.
Awesome song. Whoops. Graham Elwood's going to move down under as soon as Australia opens up. What? Who said that? Marco Gonzalez, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Anti-war movies Graham and Ron like together. Mine, Born on the 4th of July. Well, I'm going to name some movies that I don't know if Ron's seen, but The Deer Hunter?
Yeah, it's on my list. I have the list right in front of me.
Okay.
Yeah, The Deer Hunter is there. Court Jester, The Gray Fox, Dr. Strangelove. 3 days on the Condor.
No.
What?
3 days of the Condor.
All right, of the Condor. Yeah.
God damn. Now you sound like me when I talk about weed. The Deer Huntering. Dr. Strangelove's appointment book.
Dr.
And
Strangelover Weeds. I need to see that one. Where can I get that at Blockbuster?
Dr. Strangelove Marijuana Cigarette Emporium. Yeah, those are my favorite anti-war movies are Deer Hunter, 3 Days of the Condor. Born on the 4th of July is a really good anti-war movie. Ron Kovic story. Alan Flynn, Winter is Coming. Yes, Winter is
coming.
Yes, it is. Crafty Geek, what's up, brother? Also a Patreon supporter. You can support me like Crafty Geek does if you go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood. Why were crypto metals a better hedge than battery, solar, EV, e.g. Tesla? Well, that's a good thing. I mean, I think too, if I had like a lot of money to invest, I would definitely be putting some in green and battery. I mean, it's not a bad bet to put it in.
It's kind of a little bit apples and oranges, a little bit, isn't it? Because it's like one's its own like kind of an alternative to currency. The other is like an investment of currency into an industry.
Into an industry, yeah.
So I don't think they're necessarily in competition.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. You could invest your crypto into some of these industries. I could almost wager, Yeah. Like I want crypto to like everyone to start using it just to stick it to the central banks. Nays Garden. Do agencies that have been lying about cannabis all along deserve the funds from it? Oh, interesting question.
Yes, forgive and forget. No, I'm just kidding.
Again,
don't worry about it. It was in the past.
If society ultimately benefits, then I'm fine with the end result. If the end result is there's more tax revenue to take care of all these societal problems, then I am actually okay with it. But you bring up a great point, Nace Garden, which is...
Yeah, I don't want to see the pharmaceutical industry win.
No, I don't. I don't want
them to see that. No one wants to see that, especially since, they've demonized it for like 100 years.
Yeah.
But...
I mean, I would
but it's like, I mean, hell, man, if it's... I would also love to see a bunch of low-level drug offenders out of prison. I'd also love to see lives not get ruined for having a plant on them. I'd also love to see all that. And, if that means evil, corrupt people who are already rich continue to be rich, well, that sucks. But,
if all these 3 strikes you're out, weed offenders, like people who are in prison right now got out and their lives got restored, and Merck Pharmaceuticals made some money, I'd be okay with that if it made a lot of other people's lives better.
Yeah.
And if we had more public banks, then we could have more public weed, more grow your own stores and all that stuff. You'd still be competing with the big companies, but then like here's another thing too, that I'll throw out there, Nays, is if it's decriminalized on a federal level, then you can sell it online. Right now, that's a crime. That's a federal crime. If you sell it you can't mail it unless it's, across state lines. It brings up all those things. So I see your point. It's a great point, though. Obviously, you've done a lot of research on this, way more than we have. But you're asking.
Honestly, you think about you must think about this stuff sometimes.
Yeah, I get the feeling like maybe you've talked or discussed about weed once or twice.
You might talk about cannabis sometimes.
Have you ever discussed cannabis before? Do you discuss it 5 days a week or whatever? Melikevadosia. The Proud Boys are gloating. They made a new logo. Oh, wow.
I think it's Me Like Videos, yeah.
Oh, is it like we're all closeted gay dudes? Annabelle Corley, what's up? Ron, Adelaide is waiting for you. They will never forget you.
Yes, Toastergate, never forget. Thank you. We can't wait to come back.
Never forget Toastergate.
Adelaide. So much fun.
That's one of the reasons I want to go back to Australia. There's just a lot of unanswered questions about a toaster setting itself on fire.
Well,
just a lot of unanswered questions, Ron. I feel like bringing this up. I'm not trying to fight, but I just It's a lot of weird things that happened that day that we just aren't answered.
My official story has not changed. It has been consistent.
Right.
I was eating an orange, and the
Mhm.
toaster had a mind of its own. The toaster.
Toasters think for themselves now. Great.
Well, the toaster was. I think the toaster was messing with one of my blogs from 2008, and then just burnt the toast, and then the rest is history.
Mm-hmm. I just have a lot of questions about that, Ron. That just seems convenient to me. I'm at yoga, and then all these weird occurrences happen. I just think it's weird to me. That's all.
Your mate almost burned the flat down.
That's all. I walk over yoga. Your mate setting our flat on fire. I was like, what? Maybe time for you and your mate to pack up and get back to the States and stop.
They didn't say that. They didn't say that. They drove us to the airport.
They were the sweetest people.
They were the sweetest people.
They apologized for you.
They did apologize for me.
They were like, oh, it's no big deal. I'm like, he did what?
They apologized for the toast. Sorry about that toaster. Like, it wasn't the toaster's fault, but thanks for breakfast. You guys are so kind. I don't deserve this.
They made him breakfast, took us to the airport.
They were like, we don't want you to try again.
I think the airport, they're not looking back, was kind of like, they were like, we got to get these fucking American idiots out of here. Like, these guys are bad news. Like, give them to the airport. I don't know what they're going to do with a cab. You know, like, I think that's like, we'll get you there.
They might burn down the cab.
Like, the sooner we get them out of here, the better. We'll get you there early, mate. Make you breakfast. Like, get out, you know, back, get the fuck out, I think is what they were saying.
They'll be starting fires somewhere else.
Go start your fires in Path, mate. We don't need you here. I think is what they said. My awful Australian accent. Annabelle Corley. Boom. Speaking of lovely, nice Australians, my job next year, sending boats to America to rescue most people on this chat. Graham, get in line.
Deal. Send them. We'll all get on.
If I could,
fantastic idea.
If I won the lottery, I would literally like buy a giant yacht for just like, okay, get out. Everybody's out. We're all going surfing. Sage and Fool, Quadrophenia. Ooh,
great movie.
Great movie. It's a music movie. That's why Ron's seen it.
It's true.
EV Storm.
Can't even argue that.
The Conscious Resistance is organizing peaceful freedom cells to help people get ready for the upcoming unrest. Oh, wow. That's cool. Yep. We're going to have to really, when it goes off the rails, we're going to have to work together. We're going to have to protect each other. We have to be ready for that. Permaculture, grow your own food. That's what we got to do. Nays Garden, boom. Thank you for supporting the show, dude. Really appreciate it. And please watch, Nate. You want to learn about cannabis? I wouldn't recommend watching this show. I would go to Nate's Garden.
If you want to learn about the weeds, you got to watch Nate's Garden.
Okay, here's a fantastic statement. If growers like me have to pay taxes, I wouldn't be able to send you guys what I do. Oh, well, that's a valid point. I think there's a way. I think the taxes shouldn't be sent to the grower. I think it should be it's just the sales tax to the consumer. Like anybody, right? I mean, you make a wholesale product and the reseller puts the sales tax on. So that's how the state makes the money, is in the sales tax of weed.
Well, yeah. And if you have more players involved, I wouldn't want to see those burdens be passed to independent growers. I would want to see those burdens be placed on any type of, big business growers.
Right.
Which I'd rather not see at all. I'd rather not see them involved. But if they are, I would want to see them be taxed.
Yeah. And here's the thing I'll say, Nays, is, and this is a valid, you're bringing up a very valid point, but this is why, this is what a good democracy is. It's like, let's legalize marijuana. And then you and growers such as yourself go, well, wait, hey, it's going to put us out of business. If we're hit a big tax, and we say, well, no, we'll just make it a sales tax and maybe put a little extra on it like you do for alcohol or weed, that again goes to the consumer, that doesn't go to the grower. That's what I would say. But I appreciate that point. You make great points, dude. Manuel Arejo, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Can you update on the Draft Jesse movement? I think they're, I'm an elector in California. They're trying to get him on a bunch of states' ballots. Jesse hasn't really come forward and said he wants to run. I knew it was a long shot to begin with. Not that I've given up hope. But he's the Green Party candidate in Colorado, or not Colorado, in Alaska. So if you live in Alaska, vote for Jesse. If you can write him in your state, write him in. How about no law regarding cannabis? Oh, interesting. What was that?
That was my fan.
Jesus. Farkas Garvey, was Biden hopped up on something? He seemed sharp. I think you're right, Farkas.
They give him, they got to give him something. I mean, I don't know if it's some kind of like pep pill or ginseng or who knows, but and he seemed sharp by his standards, but he wasn't
right.
That's he did a terrible job. He didn't seem completely asleep at any point. I guess it was a win, but
he didn't forget where he was. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. Baby steps.
Sage and Fool. Ron, did you ever watch Fantastic Planet? Hi?
Oh. No, I've not. I got to do that.
Someone's asking if Ron would like some toasts.
Always.
I'm going to say no on that.
If someone else makes it, I'm fine.
Okay. Well, there we go. If it's made somewhere else. Nays Garden, Shavy Douglas for Justice, dude. Thanks for supporting the show. You tax it, then people can't grow it at home. How does that work? Wait a minute.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
I don't get that either.
Why would that?
How would taxing it get in the way of people growing it at home?
Well, I mean, they would have to make a separate law against independent growers. Like they would have to, which right now, I mean, there's already laws in place about, how many plants you can have and stuff like that. So how would they be able to come down on independent? I mean, I don't know. I'm sure they would find a way, but I don't. Yeah.
But if you're just saying like, I'm a guy who just wants to grow some weed at home and smoke it myself and not sell it, that should be allowed. Again, you're talking about each state can make these things very particular. What you're saying is just decriminalizing it so you can just do whatever you want with weed, grow it, sell it. But not everyone wants to grow it. People just want to buy it and smoke it.
Yeah, I'm more of a buyer myself.
Yeah.
I don't grow any.
So I don't know that you tax it and people can't grow it at home. I don't know what the basis of that is, unless you're like some states that are legalized recreational weed already say that.
I am pro growing it at home.
Yeah.
I am for that. So
someone wrote, I like a bong.
There you go.
Grow your own stash. I'd be okay with taxing the sale of it, but giving it should be okay. Yeah, I agree with that. That's good.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm actually very pro that. I am pro giving people cannabis.
Okay. Yeah, you should be able to just give some away to people, man. The grower is still responsible for tax on his profits. Well, I would need to know, again, we're talking about each state has different laws. So I would really want to know which state, what are you talking? Are you talking about California? Are you talking about Colorado? Are you talking about Oregon? You're talking which state state laws are you talking about? Because every state's different. Just like snowflakes. We're all different states. Okay, I'm like,
we're all special.
You're all special. All right. I think I got everybody. I want to make sure because I am hungry and my voice is fading. And again, and all the crypto talk, I really appreciate all the crypto questions. I was new to it too. I didn't understand it. So get more knowledgeable. First thing I will say, get more knowledgeable. I'm not some crypto expert who's saying you should do this or you should do that. I'm putting my more money into crypto because the more I'm learning about it and hearing that the economy is going to collapse, I want to have a backup plan. If my bank says, oh, your money's no good or the dollar's worth nothing, I want to have a little backup plan, me personally. But learn more about crypto yourself. All right, 1,363 likes. Fantastic. All right, I'm going to make sure. I think I got all of them. I want to just scroll through. I think we got all of them. Yep. Yeah, we got all these. Oh, wait. Cool Blue 71. I missed this one. I'm Bellwether, Michigan. Received general election ballot. Listed for POTUS. Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, U.S. taxpayers, Green, Natural Law. No socialists. Ooh. Jose Torres. Nothing will fundamentally change. Joe Biden.
Yep.
The best interview I've seen this year is from your recommendation, Maria Farmer Whitney Webb. Thanks for your work. Thank you, Jason. Red Economics. I heard it too, Ron. We got that one. We got that one. We got all these. Okay, yeah, we got all those. All right. I don't think I missed anybody. Oh, God. Brogressive. What's up, Brogressive? Thank you for supporting the show. Good to see you here in the chat, man. There's a threshold like home brewing. Oh, I see. Going back to if you grow past a certain amount, then you're considered a grower and they'd come in and tax you or whatever. So plenty of people grow tobacco and run stills for alcohol. Yeah. Yeah. But how many of them are like jail? The way they go after pot people is brutal. And it's mainly the way they've especially gone after like people of color to jam them up with a drug possession. You can grow 6 mature plants and 6 seedlings in Oklahoma. Oh, thank you, Jeremy. Good to know that.
Well, the cool thing too is like if you ever, one of the things that would happen across the country, like when, or in the states where, you know, there were laws like you could grow some, a lot of the times, like when cops would raid somebody, they would immediately just destroy everything because they like to do that because they're like, we're cops and here's something we can destroy. And that ended up, if you got the right attorney, that would save your ass because all of a sudden they just tampered with evidence. So they can't claim you had the plants that they said you had. They can't really prove that because they just destroyed so much shit, and so much shit is just in tatters. So they would have to throw the case out.
Here's another great point from Red Economics. Politicians don't legalize cannabis here. She lives in West Virginia because they want to force people into buying their drugs from their pharmaceutical drug donors instead of smoking something naturally from their backyard. That's the biggest thing right there. It's like this country.
Everywhere.
Oh, it's so brutal. Just learn to launder money, somebody put. Okay. We can't allow another debate or election like this. Oh, God, you're so true. All right, everybody. Ron, thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, buddy. Thanks for having me. And I'll let everyone know you can check me out on YouTube at youtube.com/Ron Placone. I have a Patreon over at patreon.com/Ron Placone where I'll make you your own theme song. That's one of my patron perks. And ronplacone.com for all else, at Ron Placone on Twitter.
Thanks, guys. This is a 2.5-hour post train wreck debate live discussion, which I love. I love all your questions. I love having even these debates are fantastic. This is really, quite honestly, the best live stream I've ever done. 1,382 likes, almost 1,400. Hit the subscribe button. This was really cool. We'll do this again for the vice presidential debates and whatever train wreckies they have for this.
More train wreck.
This is so cool. I love this discussion. I love this community. Stay safe out there. Work together. Help each other out. Know your neighbors. Agree. Be okay with agreeing to disagree. Peaceful, nonviolent resistance. Find ways to save the planet and to save your community. My name is Grab L. That's Rod Placode. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, make Gotham great again and shave your knuckles for justice.